on, because I also do bow wearables, like big bows on the head, or like I kind of became known for that. So I have like started releasing a line of bows in different colors. So bows and nails, yeah. But yeah, so you could, in theory, with the hand category, make a little hand in your hand, and then you could make wearables for that hand and
You
sell
could
those
totally put
different
a hand
hand
on your
things.
shoulder
I
as an
have
earring.
never been in the metaverse like at all because I thought you had to have an Oculus and I have really bad like vertigo. But Shark told me that there's ways to go and view all this stuff and play around. So I'm just like here learning while you guys are talking. But this sounds so freaking cool. It sounds like The Sims, but like it could be me, and I could actually interact with people instead of just be blarging, you know?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Decentraland does not need VR. You're ready to go.
Yeah,
yeah.
you would love it. I can talk you through it at any point if you want, but you would thrive in that community. I feel like so you should explore it.
Yeah,
Definitely. I'll have to
basically,
hit you on the back and learn this because it sounds so cool. Every time I hear about it, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not doing this?
And the earring hack is what a lot of people use. Like we used it even to make backpacks because it's still the early days. So you know, for certain wearables, a lot of people kind of use the earring category because you just put a little small earring that no one notices, and then you put the backpack or the nails or whatever the other thing is that you really want to do.
And it really depends on which curator is reviewing your wearable, if you even actually need to do that. Because, like, some people can just get away with, like, that's my guitar and I put it in top of head, deal with it. And then other times people will be like, no, the curator made us put this huge thing on the top of the head so we could have our guitar. So it's cool
Yeah.
that there'll
So
just be
tiny.
consistency.
Yeah, so Tiny Decentraland is fully decentralized. So there is no, I mean there is like a foundation, but there is everything is kind of self-sustaining. So you submit wearables, people review them, they have an incentive for reviewing them and accepting them. So the whole system is kind of like this amazing, beautiful, decentralized system that I know, you know, comes with its own challenges as well, and sometimes people get frustrated. I know, but it's pretty dope if you look into it. It's like one of the only really functioning DAOs out
It's
there.
like
So
any, like, awesome new thing. You know, when you first see it, you just see the cool, awesome, good things. And you're like, this is so beautiful and awesome. I see all of the infinite potential. But then you, like, dive into them, like, you know, this how they make the sausage. And you're just like, oh my God, how come I loved it so much? And then you get through that and you get back to loving it again. So,
I
but
feel like
well,
that's every time you rent a new apartment, right? Like you go in there and you're like, holy shit,
exactly.
this apartment is so great. And then you start to move in and you're like, oh, how did I not notice that a cabinet is missing?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I
the
should have come
difference
on the,
here is
when it gets
that
hot, the cockroaches.
you get to make adjustments to that apartment because it's your apartment and you own it.
Well, yeah, but at
Some
the same
in some
time,
ways.
it's like joining a homeowners association though, because like the DAO is small government. So like if you've ever been to a school board meeting and thought this is boring, like there is that element to like this whole process. It's super weird. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
in the general, it's a website like on browser or a client. You can download like an app on your desktop, and that's how you access it. You don't need a headset. It is strictly just computer based, and you walk in with an avatar, like you said, like Sims or Second Life. Except it's on the blockchain. So everything that you own or you buy, you own, and you get to resell, and nobody else. I mean, curators or creators take a cut. Obviously, they get a percentage if they write it in their smart contracts, just like with NFTs. But no overlord is like controlling everything necessarily. Although Foundation does still have some centralized parts to it, it is the whole ecosystem is working to be 100% fully decentralized once the sort of use case is kind of final and ready for that. But right now, there still needs to be a little bit of Foundation does some things for working on the base structure and the dev of it, and then the community is building all the experiences and pushing the platform and what the capabilities are of it through what we want to do here.
Yeah. The foundation does have a legal team that will like if you like submit someone's clearly other work like that. There are ways for that person to like go like, hey, they stole my work, take it down. But for the most part, it is pretty wild westy decentralized.
that sounds amazing. That sounds like everybody just kind of like, I just love hearing things where people get together and they agree on something and then they just make it fucking incredible. So, everyone who's in it and just making this world, like, let me give you some gratitude right now because what I've learned in crypto is that it's a very thankless environment. So, I just like to say thank you and extend gratitude to everyone who's always doing these things because it is just So freaking cool. And if no one's told you you're fucking cool lately, you're fucking cool.
You're cool.
I feel pretty fucking cool.
You should. Everyone should.
I bet Scott's hand is pretty cool.
Yeah, Scott's too polite, just waiting to talk like a gentleman who teaches.
How are you, Scott?
Hey, Sinful. Hi, Bubbles, Meta DJ. Hi, Tiny Savage. Welcome. And I know Yasha, even though I'm like following you. I don't know how long I've been following you. Hey, Jared and Existence and everybody out there in the listening core. I see Spotty and Tang and CJ and Dr. Drip and Dogman and KJ and yeah. I pretty much had already said what, it's already been said what I wanted to say. CK covered it, but like once the hand category is here, Tiny Savage, you can totally like put in the hand category. Like you could do Zaphoid Beeblebrox's additional head, or whatever, a third arm. But yeah, it's KJ had a really good explanation in her videos on how to make wearables. It's like Lego pieces, right? It's an actual piece that you swap out, and some pieces can overlap, for the wearables. So like, excuse me, Royal Babes by Empress Rayon. She's got some tops, and some of them like overlap where the pants would go because they look like oversized hockey jerseys or whatever. And people can get super creative. So just because it's in the earring category, you could put it anywhere on the body. And Sultry Dubs is another creator you could check out. She's got a lot of jewelry. I think CK mentioned Virtuel. That's Walter. He actually is a jeweler in real life. He's a goldsmith.
I don't know why, but I didn't want to know his name was Walter. I like just knowing him as Virtual.
Well,
this is somehow
I've
that
met
moment
him in real
magic
life,
has been lost.
and it's like I think I would call you Jared in real life.
Because his stuff is gorgeous.
It absolutely is. But it's
Yeah.
like, hey, Virtuel. No, I mean we were talking on the phone a lot. We were we set up. He lives down there in the area, so he helped a lot with figuring out where we were going to do the in real life physical meetup for Miami. So it just kind of felt weird to keep calling him Virtual. So I know him as Walter, and like hung out and had a beer with him. So anyway, yeah, just the thing that I like about the open source nature of DCL and decentralized nature of it is that you really can do anything. It's like if you want to come in and you want to make like a human sized hand, like walk around. So like, the index and the middle finger are the legs, and you could totally do that and have the legs bend like your fingers would bend instead of like bending like actual legs. Dogman.
Can you make a skin hand and then like an emote of like the hand shaking or something?
You
like
totally could. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's just you've got to come up with a creative solution. I worked with CK during Beauty Week, and I made and Canessa made one a pair too. So like, I've got a nail artist who's filing the hand, and then I've got a customer who's getting their nails done. So to collaborate, to incorporate both of those two emotes to work together, it took some creative thinking. But we did it. But it's kind of like, you got to roll your own. You're not just going to go down to the corner store and buy yourself a pack of smokes. You got to go out, and sometimes you got to harvest the tobacco or other substances and then roll your own, right? And some people don't like that. Like it's, oh fuck, it's a lot of work. But you know what? I love a challenge like that, and yeah, it just takes somebody with. You don't even have to have a whole lot of know-how, as long as you've got friends, as long as you know people who can take parts of it. You can pretty much do anything.
I think that the hurdles to getting things done, like obviously it's a big impediment to mass adoption, but I do think it's part of why Decentraland has such a like strong and tight knit community, is because like it is like everyone had to like get through boot camp, so to speak, where it's like, okay, you had to overcome some obstacles, like you want to be here, and then like everyone's is who sticks around and lasts is like building, trying to contribute in some form or fashion to like building the thing and like finding their way to find their joy while helping out. So
Jared, we're the coal that gets ground into diamonds, man, because we're sticking around. People like you.
Yeah.
People like me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
People like the Tang Pocos and the Dr. Drips.
Okay.
Not me.
Okay, so let's give credit where credit's due. I mean, Jared, you're writing content. Like, I still have a backlog of like 10 articles that I want to write, interviews with people, but you're like consistently publishing articles, and until we have AI that can go through and scan an entire video or an entire Twitter Spaces space, 4-hour, 5-hour long audio, and then index it or whatever, there's still people like me who read articles that appreciate that, having the information condensed. So yeah, give yourself some credit.
I just cheated. I was like, how can I contribute to this space without learning to program or use a 3D model?
No,
none of these guys like to write.
It's not cheating at all. It's like in constructing or like growing, I guess, an ecosystem. You need all parts like that. You need people that are hardcore gamers. I'm not. You need people that are casual gamers. You need people that just like to socialize. I'm more along those lines. There's no like right or wrong, or you did this well, or you did this unwell, or whatever. It's there are many parts, there are many ports that can receive your yacht or your dinghy or whatever, because it's it's because, well, partly you got to build your own boat, you got to build your own yacht or slip or whatever, but you got to do a lot of the work yourself. But still, that just makes it more accessible, and it also makes it a little, as you were saying, Jared, I think aptly, is that it's slower for adoption because it's not so drag and drop yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, when it's ready for mass adoption, it'll be there. But it's definitely, it takes time to make a world-class product, and doing it in a totally new way, like as a decentralized DAO, creation is, going to take some time. There are going to be kinks to work out in the process.
Did you read the? I think it's Manuel Neruda. He had if Bay is on here, or I think Tank Poco read it. It's I think it's just called Metaverse. But he's got whatever. It's like 2 paragraphs long. It's a definition of metaverse, and I tried to truncate it or whatever. But the one of the important precepts that he's got in his book about a metaverse is that it needs to be able to receive and accept all kinds of people, to be able to express themselves, to be able to create, to be able to start businesses, at will, like as low friction as possible. And that's he specifically states that it's just not gonna be possible from a company like Meta or like Google, because they want to own everything. They want to lock everything down. And what will make the metaverse successful, in his opinion, is its openness, and is its ability to be transformed by the users themselves. He actually mentions Decentraland in the book, but he likens it to anarchy, and not wrong on certain parts of it, but I think he didn't whatever he doesn't have enough understanding of all the possibilities for of Decentraland as a metaverse. He also has his own company that's doing metaverse stuff, and he like mentions his company no fewer than 4 times in the book, which, whatever, not too keen on. But anyway, that's kind of my point, is that it needs to accept all people. So I don't think it's cheating at all. It needs people like you, Jared. It needs people like Colorful. It needs all kinds of people. 729 Cubes, Spotty Wi-Fi, Colorful Carol. It needs all these people.
Well, I'll take it. I won't. I'm not going to argue with you. I'll let. My low self-esteem is only willing to put up so much of a fight. You made a pretty compelling case.
Yeah.
Where's Canessa? I wanted to pit Sinful and Canessa against each other and talk about their different opinions about the one time I've seen them vote differently on a grant.
Lol.
Air quote pit them against each other. I imagine it would be a very friendly. Lol, Jared, you're being ridiculous. But.
Well, Canessa's the more logical one. I'm more of like the I believe in this team, rah. You know what I mean? But well, man, I was gonna ask you something real quick, but it just completely um yeah, I lost it. When CBD town hall, since I have Scott and CK up here.
Wow. Well, it's not anything that we gatekeep. It's definitely accessible to everybody. You can go on to the town hall thread, and it's town hall chat, and suggest some dates. It just ends up being CK and I are usually the ones that do it. I see Existence was up there like asking, "Hey, when are we gonna do this again?" So, yeah, I'm getting to a point like CK where a lot of my other major projects are finishing. Mesh is launching actually a week from today. I just got a notice from Bay. She's now doing just like promo, so I'll have time, so I can post something about the town hall. So I guess everybody that's listening, go to the CBD Discord and look in town hall chat. We'll probably put something in general chat, just directing people there for to express your vote, like what time of the day and then what day of the week works best for you, and then whichever one gets the most votes, that's when we'll hold it, and we'll talk about what our next projects are.
How does everyone feel about the porn budget or the porn proposal sucking up like 72% of the in-world content budget? Like,
I think the system is flawed.
Yeah, I mean the budgeting system is super flawed, but like I don't feel like I've seen since meta trekkers or something. I don't think there's been a thing the community's been more just vehemently split on, and like this one I feel feels a little bit differently than the he said you're corrupt and now everyone's adamant you're corrupt. I just want to like Chris. He's so nice to me.
Everyone has their own thoughts and opinions. Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it is a work in progress. If there ever was an example of building the plane while it's in flight, it's the DAO for Decentraland. I know that there's been a number of people who have been critical of Decentraland in general and the Decentraland DAO specifically. But what a lot of people don't see is, if you the work's being done. It's not just like a bunch of people are sitting around and using the same set of tools when Decentraland first rolled out in 2019 or 2020, depending on what you mark as the starting point. The DAP squad is or committee, or I forget what's a squad, what's a committee, but those people are constantly working to improve. It's a lot easier to get information. Just look at some screenshots from the DAO, a year ago or even 8 months ago. I think having the separate budgets, while not perfect, is an improvement. I'm not familiar with this particular porn proposal that you're talking about, Jared. But
the meta skins pixel something like strip club, like 3D avatar strip club with like AI or like animated like club girls. I don't know what the correct nomenclature to not be. You know, I'm not trying to shame AI sex workers or anything.
No, okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's like that's part of the the sword that cuts both ways. It's like you want to do something and create something totally unthought of before. Uh, there's going to be people that actually do that and come up with a scenario that, oh well, now we got to think about this. And I think that's why sometimes it can be super overwhelming, because like, holy shit, now there's this that we've got to deal with or think about. And um just to put it back to you, Jared, is like, honestly, I I reached like an upper limit, and I've started to just keep my head down and make more stuff, and spend less time on the DCL DAO, and having people like yourself, and some other of my friends, they can just alert me to. What I'm saying is, I appreciate your attention to detail on these matters, and that's why I think a lot of governments are representative and not one to one, because it just takes an awful lot of time.
Oh yeah, no, the voter exhaustion is real for sure.
Yeah, so I appreciate people that are doing the Night's Watch, and standing the tower in the cold winter, or whatever Game of Thrones reference you want to put in there. But no, I'll take a look at it. But I think it's as you said earlier, or somebody said earlier, how the sausage is made. There is all the happy, bright, positive stuff about it, but then you really do need to figure the shit out. It's a metaverse, so everything has to be decided on and constructed. And sometimes it's nice to just sit back, turn on the TV, and turn my brain off. So yeah, just find your passion, and I'm glad this is part of your passion, because I can offload that part at times.
Yeah, well, this is the first $200,000 grant request I've seen in Greece that I remember, and apparently, in the new system, they need 9.2 million yes VP to pass. So right now they're at like 7.5 yes, 6.8 no. It's I don't know. Everyone in the community who's like active in the DAO seems to have a strong opinion one way or the other about it, and I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I don't, because like I said ages ago, like the metaverse with the best porn is going to win. Like porn has historically helped drive technology. We all know that's how VHS beat Betamax. Less people are aware that like being able to buy things online wasn't very much pioneered by like dudes were just like, screw it, I'll risk them stealing my personal identity. I need to see boobs. Like humanity has been driven so far in technology just by like men's willingness to like wait for dial-up boobs. So I could see a world where like lame models work.
It's not just men though, okay? Because there are a ton of female creators for mods on The Sims, making it so that way they can bang every freaking famous person possible anywhere in The Sims. Like, if you have not ever ventured into the XXX side of getting modulars for your Sim characters, I 1000% tell you, go do it, and then have them vote on the porn aspect of the metaverse, because holy shit, it's crazy in The Sims.
I mean, that's actually a really compelling argument, that if like there are people spending thousands of hours of their time and like creating all these mods for sim level graphics to bang the celebrity of their choice, that like there is probably a market for Decentraland level graphics where you can
I mean, it's big time. Like a couple of my porn star friends, like they've had some of their fans like send them in The Sims where they're making these sim artists, because The Sims itself, like the community there is huge. Like it's ongoing and ongoing, ongoing. And once you get into forums that are on top of forums that are hidden in other forums, you start to see thousands, if not millions of people playing these games, making these mods so they can do weird shit. And if they knew about like the metaverse, I'm pretty sure that they would come over and just be like, here's all of my stuff that I've made for The Sims. Put it in there.
I bet Doki knows about this dark, perverted corner of the Sims universe because she's always talking about her days back in like the Sims modding game and like.
And it's kind of funny too that there was a proposal just recently about the DAO itself getting involved with gambling and triple X.
So I think that was that Lord Likes one. That was like I think part of the DAO tendering process because they make the DAO so hard to like explain to people because they keep changing it and modifying it, try to improve it. So there's a new system where a person can go, I think that we need this, and then they just kind of put forth an idea. Like for example, I think we should find someone who can like open a casino for us to help us make money, and then like other people can go like, hey, if you give us $1 million, we'll build you a casino. Or someone else goes like, oh, I'll do it for 100,000. So like there's this new process, the bidding and tendering to like improve. But I don't think anything is actually both been suggested and then been taken up by a new individual to do. But I think it's an interesting idea.
Good one for marketing. It would be a great one for marketing, and anybody that's actually in Decentraland already that wants to do it or has experience in it would be great. It'd be great to see that happen.
Not me looking for all of my little sim blurred out videos to show and give you guys. Just say, here, look at this. Sims is already doing it. Not saying that I fully would want porn in like a metaverse, but I'm just saying there is definitely a demand for it. And if there's something that can get, it's kind of like legalizing weed, right? We wanted to like make cities better. So like to get more money, we legalized weed. And obviously I'm not a person who's against weed at all. It does a lot. But what I'm looking for is like, let's get some like industrial hemp. But like that's what porn could be for like this metaverse, is like people could just be like up in it. And then it gets more mass adoption. Like, I know that sounds wild, but any way to get people into the blockchain, like, by God, like, I'm here for it. I've only been in crypto since April 17th of this year. So anything I can do to aid in the mass adoption, like, hit me up. I'm here for it.
Are you sure you never...
The benefit that you have in the metaverse is your barrier to entry is so low, right? And when you can do that, and when you can duplicate it or replicate it or whatever at nearly zero cost. CK was talking about this earlier about about nail art, or somebody else was mentioning. Oh, it was Mariana who was talking about not wanting to go to the nail salon with her friend or whatever because she's already got the nails here in Decentraland. I mean, it's one of the first rules of sales is like, as soon as somebody has ownership in their mind and in their heart of a thing, it's like you've already completed the sale. And then the faster you can get from, oh, I'm considering this, to, man, I totally already see myself in this situation, the better off you are. And I think that's the benefit of the metaverse. It's like setting up a store, coming in, having an idea, and then going from concept to completion, and just having the vices, drugs, gambling, and sex. It's like the demand is a very clear line. It's not like acne cream or whatever, where you've got to create the need inside the mind of the person. It's like the need is already openly, blatantly there. As Jared said, there's so many people that are just willing to say fuck it and figure out how to do MetaMask so they can bang Ariana Grande or Justin Bieber or whoever it is. So
the main pushbacks against the porn proposal are, A, it's taking 68% of the in-world budget category, and since there's already people who are upset that they couldn't submit 2 months ago because that budget had been sucked up just barely. So there's tension from there because I feel like we just need to improve the communication. People just need to come to the DAO to be like, hey, by the way, in 2 weeks when the budget resets, we're gonna submit this grant. So people are just prepared to analyze it, because there's just cognitive dissonance basically. Is people are like, I've already planned on spending that money on my thing, or I planned on supporting my friend on that thing. So I think there just needs to be more giving people kind of a heads up, and it makes sense to kind of have a pre new quarter budget reset window of time, I think, where people are just reaching out. because like if they once because like when this passes, or if this passes, like most everything else that's been submitted in the in-world category, like there won't be able to pass, because the way they currently have set up the system is as many people as they want to can submit into a category until that money has been like taken, but then once like one but then it's based on like who submitted first. So if the person who submitted first asked for all the money and it passes, every single person who submitted after, who's like invested emotional energy in like defending their idea and like arguing with the community about like why it's a good idea, is like they've just wasted their time, and they could pass and they'll still have to resubmit it.
It just requires a different strategy. I think the way things were before, I mean, was problematic in another way. I think there was money flying, you know, left and right without a true understanding of, you know, what is being spent or how much is being spent. By separating it into the specific pots, it gives people, you know, a better well, you know, like it's just basic budgeting. How much of the treasury are we willing to commit to a specific set of assets or development or research, you know, or marketing. So yeah, it's like the way you used to present a proposal, it needs to change, and we haven't figured out the best way to do that. I get your point though, Jared, that because there is so much change and development, that's why things take time, so people can just sit with a new change in the system, figure out the best way to do it, rather than charging ahead. I didn't consider that component of it, so thank you.
Tang, did you have a thing to say? I saw you just put your hand back down, but we always want to hear what
Yeah,
Coco has to
right.
say.
Let's call Tang out here.
Well, we started talking about the Dow instead of the porn, and I like to stay out of the Dow. But if we're going to go back to porn, I'll definitely talk about that.
Do you like porn, Tang?
Do you breathe? Do you breathe, Tang? Are you familiar with oxygen? After that, sky is blue? Yeah, she likes porn. I confirmed. She's human.
What? I have no reason at all to not want porn in the metaverse. I think it's great, and I think everybody said excellent points about how it can be great for onboarding and just great for expression. There's nothing wrong with it. What I have an issue with this proposal is that I don't necessarily think it should be the DAO supporting it. I don't think that they should take our funds to support what is probably going to be a really great money-making opportunity for them. They should be able to get investors. I certainly feel like I could get investors if I came up with a porn proposal. And if they can't get investors, then they should change their business model. Either way, I don't think that the DAO should fund it, because can you imagine the PR nightmare? I don't even want to think about the legal ramifications of taking 15% revenue from a project like this.
I hadn't gotten to get onto the other things main issues people are upset about, but yeah, the PR nightmare and the idea of the DAO itself funding the porn is a major call out from a lot of people, not just Tang. So yeah. I think that is a valid, like, I mean, I don't necessarily know, because like any PR is good PR. Like, I would think that if you told millions of horny men, hey, there's a new kind of porn in the metaverse on the news, like no amount of like these sick fucks are making porn is going to stop them from checking it out.
Brands might pull out decentralized or centralized.
Do you remember when Prager Metis had their opening party last November? It wasn't a very big affair. You might not remember, but CoinDesk covered it. And of course, the Baby Dolls were there hosting, and they came and saw us at the club. And I think some of us were in our little pixel bikinis, and they made some report about how this company was associating with scantily clad avatars in the metaverse. I mean, it was already kind of horrible. I can't imagine what they would do if they went and saw, like, you know, only chatterbait sessions going on at this place.
Well, that would be assuming they can get in.
I don't know anything about the DAO itself, but from what everyone is saying here, it sounds like the porn thing should be like a peer-to-peer type thing. Like someone submits a proposal to open up a porn shop inside this metaverse, and then whoever is a proposal, like, you know, then you purchase it from that store.
I can see where your confusion. You see, the proposals kind of only involve like if you're asking for the DAO to pay for it, or if you're like trying to just change the rules of how it works. Like you yourself could absolutely like go buy a parcel of land, set up a video service, and like stream yourself, solo camming to the Decentraland world, like without any. You don't need anyone's permission. You might need to age gate it to stay out of trouble, but otherwise, like. So yeah, you don't need a proposal to do that. You just need a proposal if you're like, I'd like the community to pay for my idea.
So people could be having porn in here already.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
They do. They already do.
In Decentraland, there already has been. But you do, based on the terms of service, if it's going to be in Genesis City, which is what the 90,000 parcels are when you go onto Decentraland.org. But yeah, you do have to age gate it, just like in the gambling section. So there's already a solution right now. You can go to Atlas Corp, which is a third-party service provider that can spin up a Decentraland Catalyst server. You don't even have to have a DCL.eth domain name, but that's the easiest way to get a DCL world set up. But yeah, you could have whatever domain name you want. Go to Atlas Corp. They've got a turnkey solution. They will install a version of Decentraland. You can token gate it. You can age gate it. You can do it right now. I agree with you, Tang, that it's like, do we want DAO funds to go to this? I was considering that earlier when the discussion first came up. It's like, if it's such a great idea and such a great deal, then go find VC funding. Go find. I'm sure there's some service out there that exists that is considering a metaverse play or an AR, VR play, XR play.
How decentralized is that, though?
What's that?
How decentralized is that, though?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
it should be noted their proposal does offer to like pay like 15% of their revenue back to the DAO, despite not being in the correct grant request program for that.
Yeah. Okay. That's not the point, though. The point is, where is the main bulk of the funds?
I agree.
What's the source? It really is coming down to, it's like, what does the community want to have associated with it? And I think that's part of the reason why there's so much interest in this proposal, because it's part of how we as a community can decide what it is that we want to create in the metaverse. And if it doesn't work this time, they can always come back with another proposal, or they can try something else. But what do the citizens of Decentraland, through the DAO, want to commit our blood and treasure to? So I think this is, I don't know, it's fascinating and really important to do.
Yeah, I love watching the sausage get made to an extent. Like when it's not my grant being submitted. Speaking of which, I did submit one yesterday. Go, feel free to vote no on that. But it's fun to watch the like forming of the new like paradigm, so to speak, because it is like we are watching like the digital history like unfolding before us. But Spotty's had his hand up for a while.
Spotty, yeah, come on, hop in, and then Tiny.
What up, what's up, guys? I appreciate it. I think Tiny's ahead of me. It's all good. I'll hold back a second.
No, Spotty, you were first, and I was looking into decentralized land and forgot what I was gonna say. So go ahead.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. So, I think porn is interesting. I like porn. I think VR porn is really interesting. I think porn is like, it's always like at the cutting edge of technology. And I think that right now there's nothing stopping porn from flourishing in Decentraland. I think there's absolutely nothing stopping anyone from setting up their own, pornified build and attracting users. But I don't see that happening. But I do see music flourishing, and music and gaming being a big part, being huge. And so as a musician, that's more what I'm into. And I think that some of the things that some people might see as a good thing about a porn a porn land in Decentraland is press, potential press. Sometimes all press is good press, right? But music is a category or a pillar with a demonstrated history of getting press for Decentraland. And Decentraland being able to attract talent and build a story, build a narrative, and bring in new users based off of that. So that's just my kind of take. Obviously, I'm biased. If you don't know, I have a grant proposal out right now for a music festival called All Time High Fest. I've got Bun B and a lot of other really great teammates working on that with a lot of experience doing music festivals and live concerts in Decentraland. So hope everybody will check it out. But that's my thoughts on porn. I think in the long run, I'm very bullish on porn. Do not bet against porn. I just think that right now, there's nothing stopping it from flourishing in a more grassroots way. If there was going to be a budget that I would vote for bringing porn into the metaverse, it would probably be similar to what I'm trying to do with All Time High Fest, or what we're trying to do, which is to bring in some real talent. Let's be honest, there's not a lot of people on Decentraland that I probably want to see do porn. But if you were bringing in if you're bringing in some talent, okay, that's different, and that's what we're trying to do with All Time High Fest. And except that there's already really amazing musicians and talent in Decentraland in the music category.
Not me at AVN in January trying to get all my porn friends into the metaverse after you saying that. That is so funny, because AVN is definitely a place where you can just get a bunch of girls to do stuff because they're just wanting to have fun, and metaverse sounds so much fun. But I remembered my question was, what does the age gating look like, and how do they actually know or confirm someone's age? Because I think that would be the only worry. Or
same way every other lame website does. You just say, yeah, I'm totally 18.
See,
Yeah,
that's
literally every porn website.
that's
in the world.
scary though. That's scary though. They have so many things that could confirm age identity. I guess that would kind of be my only worry when it comes to porn inside of a metaverse, because kids are already going to want to do this. They're probably already doing it in Roblox from what I'm hearing, but there's some crazy stuff
No
going on
one
in
is
Roblox.
making Roblox porn. I refuse to
They
believe
are making, okay, so Mariah and I were talking about this in California this weekend. They are making rooms where girls can go in and they have to sit in guys' laps, and then they bid on the girls in their laps in Roblox. So they're already doing some weird stuff like that in Roblox. And I guess how would we make age something better in the metaverse to make this happen? Because I think that would be the only thing stopping me from wanting porn inside of a metaverse.
From chatting with the Holy One's team, it kind of sounds like that was the conversation that was brought up to that started from day one. That was something how do we restrict and make a streamlined process on how someone can get into this area, and that so yeah, I would be curious to find out even what process they've thought of. I know I was kind of shooting ideas at first, which my ideas are basic bitch ideas, make a Discord. You at least to start with, until the technology gets there. Make a Discord, funnel them in there, make them confirm their fucking age, and then give them an NFT that will let them go on the land. And then
Decentralized ID is already complicated enough and still in its infancy. I can't even comprehend. I'd have to give some thought to this, but it's if you can prove, that you're a person, and not a bot, not an AI or whatever, there should be a way to, in a decentralized zero knowledge proof fashion, to be able to determine how old somebody is, if they're but yeah, that just sounds
long-term solution. Okay. When you're born, you get an ETH address.
I mean, there's ways.
And we just check it on the age of your wallet. Boom. We all gotta wait another 15 years before we can watch porn on the Ethereum network, but bam.
I think that there are, from what I've been hearing, that there are certain wallets that you have to put your ID in or whatever whenever you're doing certain things on some exchanges, but that might be in the stock and not in crypto. I'm not sure, but
that's just because we're in the U.S. and the government's trying to take all our money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there are like third party, and I think like someone in crypto could probably make the same thing where it's kind of like Persona. If you guys have ever heard of that, it's like what all these apps are using, where you have to like do a face, like you take a picture of your face and then your ID or whatever to like confirm. But there's definitely ways to still stay anonymous with those types of things, and I think like having something that's integrated with a wallet, like some sort of wallet structure that like just confirms the authenticity of the person owning the wallet, and like having an age attached to the wallet would probably be the best way to stay decentralized, anonymous, and
The
like
problem is though you have to
verified.
trust a centralized person to confirm the age. It's like that's the like biggest issue with that kind of.
But we're using like MetaMask and Ledger and Treasure and like all those types of things, and that's where I'm saying like those companies like should like could or should, I don't know, somehow like put on some type of age thing, because I'm not sure what age. I don't think you have to be a certain age to buy crypto, but certain things that you're doing with crypto you have to
You
be a
do.
certain age.
You
So
have to
it's like
be 18.
Yeah.
adding it to the wallet would be the only way to secure everyone at that point. Would be my thoughts. I don't know enough about crypto to say anymore though.
I feel like ultimately the thing responsible for keeping children away from porn are their parents. So, like, I think minimal. I think like whatever is agreed upon to be an acceptable thing for the what got us here through our childhood. I don't necessarily think we need to reinvent that wheel. Like, parents should be having conversations with their kids. So they're like, hey, like, I know that's fun, but like, there's lots of reasons you shouldn't do it. It's going to ruin your expectations and future relationships with women. Or you're going to death grip your penis so you won't orgasm as well. There's ways to scare children away from venturing into the metaverse porn, but I don't know. It is still a complicated
Jared, do
one.
you even have kids? I just can't even imagine you having this
No,
discussion with
no, I
any
think it's
children.
best for the world I don't do that. I don't
Okay.
think I have the right temperament for
I
that.
mean, to your point, Jared, like my mom, like I saw a condom on Seventh Heaven when I was 5, 6 years old, and I asked my mom, like, what is that? And she like had that conversation with me. And like I literally didn't even see my first porn until I found hentai when I was 20 years old, and I'm 33 now. So it's like I think like to your point, yes, but in today's world where kids are raising kids and they're just popping them, I'm not saying all parents, but most parents are just popping them in front of a TV and kind of just like trying to survive and make money in this world. That's where it's kind of like pitfall, and it falls back on like these conglomerates being the babysitters of the internet. And the babysitters, like when I worked in the mall, I was like, cool, I'm just a babysitter, because people just drop their kids off at the mall, and that's kind of what they're doing in these metaverses is they're dropping their kids off at the mall.
Hey, I was just gonna say, the age gating question is kind of interesting in one way to me because let's say we came up with a really streamlined, user-friendly way to on-chain, whatever, have somebody verify and send them a soulbound token or something. If we started, let's say we did that, and that would be really pioneering, and in one way, it could be really cool that Decentraland was the first to do that. And I wonder, and I don't know the answer, but for a brand like an existing beverage brand or like Heineken, they have their little build or whatever, which is like meant to be ironic and kind of making fun. But if we set a higher standard than what they're used to or what they think is hoops that their consumer might jump through, then they might internally have to consider next time they think about doing something in Decentraland, well, which standard is the standard we should adhere to now, in order to fulfill our responsibilities? And that's probably a question for somebody smarter or like a lawyer. But I just think it was interesting.
Metaverse passport.
Right.
Well, you brought up soulbound tokens, and I think, and somebody else, I don't know if they were kidding, but maybe that was Jared, who was like, when the person's born, you give them a soulbound token.
I mean, I think it's an absurd idea, but I also think it is kind of a good idea.
Well, I mean, it's this kind of thinking, though. It's like you've got to work through all of the details, and I think what a lot of people are used to is having a centralized third party just take care of it, and then they work through all of the details. But having a soulbound token, there is a new protocol, or basically when you give somebody an NFT, that NFT is its own wallet. And I don't remember what ERC protocol it is.
It's the Dapper Labs thing. 6.5 something. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So having something that is specific, a protocol for soulbound token for age, right? There's and I mentioned zero knowledge proof. It's a way to be able to prove something without learning the identity of the person. Like scanning your face and whatever, it's like, yeah, whatever. I'm fine with that. I'm been doxxed for many years, but there are some people that just will not do that. Don't
Well,
want to
there are
do
people
that.
that
Don't
like
even want to
can't.
consider that.
Because last time we were
Yeah.
having this conversation, Nay was around, and she like really punted that there's like a privilege to being like, yeah, like let's KYC, like I don't care, like I'll do it. That was my position, and she was like, yeah, but like there are the like people without any like government documentation, in like the slums of India.
Champ mentioned that too. Yeah, maybe I was on that
people
same
like that in
discussion with
America too, though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not just, but it's they're she was that was the example she used because she is from India, and I was just like, yeah, that okay, you're right, that is a privileged position, and like it does because like part of what makes crypto exciting because like it's not practical to me. Like I will never be in a country, I hope, where the government isn't going to let me go get my money out of the bank or like send money to like people who I need to help out. But like there are places in the world where you just can't do that, or like you want to be able to remain anonymous because like they are going to like come after you for whatever corrupt shitty reason that humans hurt other humans. So it is like a real. So I do like the trustless, proofless soul rebound thing you were talking about.
Yeah, zero knowledge proof, soul
zero knowledge.
Token. Yeah,
it still sounds like it's very hard for me to wrap my brain around because like I just can't like I can kind of understand the concept of like yeah, there's like enough engagement that'll prove you're real, but I can't actually like sit down and like write the list of things that would like. But I like the idea, and I'm sure eventually Vitalik will get around to figuring it out.
That sounds like a very interesting thing, and I would ask that, like, on those soul tokens, the retroactive of all of us old people or older, already living people existence, like, would that be a sense of like us here in America going like, I literally don't want to have a social security number anymore, and you just like trade it for this soul token?
Yeah, I mean that's potentially one way to do it.
We have to buy our birth certificate contracts back from who got them in the first place, or would we just own that? That's the question. Do we actually own ourselves here in America?
Yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with the people that are the sovereign citizen movement, and that's a whole other rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
Oh my god, I love watching those people get pulled out of their cars in YouTube videos.
No, but I only bring that up because this is pretty much their wet dream, right? Like you don't need to rely on any government whatever. I mean, one of the things that I've been playing around with, and there's a few people on here that have joined me in Bright ID. It's peer-to-peer. Just my relationship with Jared and the fact that I've been on spaces with him, I could claim that he's somebody that I already know. And what would prevent Jared from claiming a dual identity or a sock puppet or whatever is that it's difficult for a computer to fake, and it's easy for a person to do, and it relies on the person-to-person relationships. So the more people that you get in your network, the more robust your ID can become. And none of the information that is shared between Jared or myself or you, Tiny, and Jared, or you and I, it's only on our individual devices. And this is part of the reason why Ledger got in trouble when they mentioned that there was a backdoor, but it was a recoverability scenario. So that if you lost your Ledger, you could reconstruct your access to your Ledger account through knowing other people. And that's basically if you've got all your information on your phone and you lose your phone, do you still have your identity? Well, the answer is yes, because I still know you, Tiny, and I still know Jared. Tiny, you would be somebody who I'd list as just met. Jared would be somebody that I already know. CK is somebody who I already know and I've met in person, right? So you could even have another level of verifiability, for people that you've met in person. And by doing that, it's like, yeah, there's for certain age groups, it's like, okay, I can tell that this person is not a 30-year-old man. this person is a 22-year-old woman. So that's the verifiability, right? It's like the more connections that you have, it's that social graph, that social network that then creates the certainty without having to rely on that social security number that is issued from the government, right? And we all know that social security numbers can be stolen and reused or whatever. So it's really depending on each other, us. It's depending on us instead of depending on the government.
That sounds way more amazing. And while you were talking, it made me ask the question, what if in the future or some way it's like the voice recognition could verify some sort of age? Because they already say, like, you know, you hit puberty, there's certain that. Then once you're like 14, you finally solidify like what accent you're going to have. So linguistics already out there, you know, pointing to this. It's like, what if what if age verification could be solely done from voice activation? That would be crazy.
No, AI is going to take over voice things. That's not going to be. We can't do it soon. It's going to be terrible. Robots are going to ruin everything.
My voice is being harvested on a daily basis. I'm gonna copyright my voice. I've been joking around about this, but I'm gonna find a way to copyright my voice. And Spotty, I think you should too.
I think that's a huge question, man, of how that's going to play out and what's going to happen with copy, you know, because I don't know. I don't know that you can't copyright a voice as of right now, but I think that's a big question, man. Big money question too.
You should be able to. You can copyright a dance, so they should make it so that you could copyright a voice.
The Digital Millennium Copyright Act was passed it was Clinton, so it was, I think it was 1996, and that was the last time that anybody considered updating our antiquated sense of intellectual property, at least in electronic form. But I would say, perhaps, Sinful, that the best thing you could do is to put it on chain. To be forward thinking again, instead of relying on the government entity for the IP protection, and that's always, you know, through the force of the state. I mean, that's how it's enforced, is to rely on, you know, that makes it even more readily available, but it also creates the indelibility of it, the indelible mark of it being on IPFS, so that it's sharded and placed throughout the world, and that it's on that immutable ledger, is to put it there.
Ooh, you have a point there. And yeah, I mean, even coming back to like the importance, like you just mentioned, the last time they updated that policy was probably back in the 90s. And as AI technology develops, like you know, we've had it done to us already, Scott. Like when Topic took our voices and made a little like bio or speech with it, and it was like for yours was like a bit scary because it sounded like you, like or at least like to my ear it sounded like Scott, and I was like, what the heck? And then I thought I was safe with mine. I was like saying, oh, like, yeah, mine sounds like me, but it doesn't sound like me, I don't know. And then someone suggested, oh, that's because it was sped up. Now if they were to slow it down, it would sound exactly like you, and now I'm scared.
Ooh, I see Steve-O Trinidad in the audience, and that reminds me that in 10 minutes, Metaverse Backpack Co., which is a cool new project where you will get, airdropped wearables for like the next 3 years at a minimum when they mint later this month, and we'll have like cool things. If I know Existence is excited because they're gonna have like a Hirota Kai exclusive. Like they've already announced like they're gonna work with Dr. Drip. I see him down there, Nikki, I feel like I'm forgetting at least one other person I was really excited about. But they're doing a Twitter space with Kevin on Earth in 10 minutes. So, if Kevin on Earth hasn't blocked you on Twitter, check it out.
I know, and the Nihilings have one in 10 minutes too. I'm like, oh my God, which direction do I go? How do I be in 3 freaking Twitter spaces at once? This is going to drive me insane.
You
got
open
your
up
phone,
2 web browsers
Twitter.
and then you listen to them all at the
Yeah, I
same
was just
time.
gonna say, you set your phone up
And then-
for this Twitter space, and then you go on your browser and you listen to the other one, and you just you record it with Audacity.
And then I confuse the conversations and chime in with something totally irrelevant. But since we've talked about porn, can we talk about pets for a moment?
We can talk about that.
I mean, it really depends on how you're going to take this conversation, because
I'm gonna take this.
LOL.
I'm gonna take this to the petaverse is where I'm going. Because they have a grant proposal.
That's PETA. Just so you all know, if you didn't hear that incorrectly, PETA, petaverse.
Petaverse, not Petaverse.
Yes, got it.
To be very clear, thank you, Aja. But I want to encourage people to please go vote yes. I just, they've been around. They've had a grant to start as well, just like the rest of them, and we're saying yes to all these other games. But they got a very unique thing. They also recreated my dog I had, who is no longer around for several years. They made it so I can have her in the metaverse. I thought it was one of the coolest things, and they're wanting to expand. Somebody said they voted no because of low traffic. So maybe they haven't done a whole ton, but I really think it's a very cool, unique idea.
They could make Tiny a pet hand.
What's that?
They could make Tiny a pet hand.
They could make me a pet hand. And, like, if anyone's ever
See?
played Nintendo Pets or, like, Tamagotchi, I think what? If you've ever even played, like, WoW or Destiny or D&D, like, you're always wanting companion pets.
Exactly. So I just asked that if people could, if you voted for it, no, please think about it again some more. Talk to them. There is some confusion possibly as to which one they are, because there's like several out there, but their official ones are listed in the grant proposal discussion.
I'm reading this proposal, then I'm reading the comments, and CK, I have an issue with you. You have too much integrity, frankly, and really, it's bothersome in this pool of scumbags. Why aren't you voting for Sinful on the Dow committee and for this genuine person in his project? Because, you're just countering a little HP action.
This case, they really need you, CK.
I obviously don't actually have an issue with you having lots of integrity, but it is a little annoying sometimes. And you're like, it's not that. I mean, like, I consider myself pretty high integrity. I'm like, you can vote for Sinful. Meeting a guy in person and having some work together means that he's competent and trustworthy. You should be using that to justify voting for him, not voting for him. Come on. That's, but I mean, I still respect it. I just, just sick of seeing you doing the right thing all the time when it doesn't align with my vision for perfection, because it's you're so hard, you're like so lawful good about it. I'm just lawful neutral over here. Like, come on, you can let that slide.
They want to do something similar like the Robies do and make it so people can earn some stuff on their land as well. So,
to be fair, I do really feel like we should stop funding so many games at the moment that especially have already funded. But I also understand why, since they made your puppy, you're really sentimental about it. And I also just hate reading people's game grants and then going like, oh, I can't support this, and just makes me sad, because I'm like, I want there to be enough magic money for everyone.
I also feel, though, Jared, that I said a while back, I'm done with voting yes for games unless it's something very, very, very unique. or if it's one of them that we have funded in the beginning, because we do I feel, I guess, an obligation to them, because we don't want to. Why would we cut them off? We've got them this far. What we need to do is bring the people in so that they can start funding themselves.
I do agree with that logic that like it takes like $1 million to make a mediocre like mid-level game, and like working in Decentraland where you're like fighting against the platform in so many ways, like giving someone 50 or even $250,000 and then saying, "Oh, okay, you're on your own," like when there is no DAU is just that's actually like a worse spending really to like cut them off in a way. You're like you just threw that money down the drain. Like I agree that perhaps if you don't believe that they created a reasonable prototype with the first grant, don't keep going. But I don't think low traffic is really an acceptable reason to like say the first grant was a failure, because DAU's down across the board, and like what you should be trying to do is make a fun core game loop, or like create something that like connects with people in the way that they did obviously with you very effectively. And like I think it is also like a good marketing tool for, in this example, like Petaverse, pets, everyone loves pets. Maybe it's not the best name, since if you mumble it and say it real fast, it kind of sounds like Petoverse. But and apparently there are 3 other people you can get confused with if you Google them on Google them. Maybe they should rebrand a little. But people love animals. Like,
Damn you, Jared!
People love them.
don't do that to pets.
There's one thing that you can
I
you can
get it,
do
though.
to dispel a lot of this, and I was actually on a testing Tuesday yesterday with DCL Metrics. I mentioned Atlas Corp before. They also provide some data analysis, and they pull stuff from the Decentraland Foundation servers and from the other Catalyst servers. But and part of the discussion yesterday was around customizability, and one of the things that I mentioned was, it's really invaluable. Like you can't even put a value on it. Like being able to go in and consider somebody's comment about, well, the traffic is kind of low, and to your point, Jared, is like DAU is down everywhere. Not just in Decentraland, not just in the highly populated areas, but like everywhere that is a metaverse, and to take that into consideration, and to have the forethought and the understanding that for the next bull run, you need to have stuff that's already going.
Yeah,
And
you're gonna
this
want.
is
We
the
need
time.
content.
Yeah, with that was the problem. I think that was one of the main problems for Decentraland, is like there were a lot of people, and there was Wondermine.
Yeah,
and
you
there
could
was
only
Ice
do that
Poker.
for so long.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I stayed because I met people and I developed relationships that way. But most people aren't going to do that. And yeah, I agree with you, Jared. It's like it'd be nice to have enough magic money to give to everybody. But if somebody's going to make a claim about, it's going to onboard a bunch of new users, and it's like, okay, that's a great thing to say, and it would be wonderful if that were going to happen. Tell me how.
Yeah,
Give
no,
me
I agree.
numbers. And you
No
need to
one should
go
be making
to
that
something.
claim in their grant proposal at this point.
It's like, so tell me how. Show me an example of something else. And DCL Metrics, they were the recipient of a grant, and I think it's essential that that is a tool that we have and that we continue to fund, because it's a building block. It's another layer in that open source stack. You've got this this open bit of information now that you can go and hopefully soon be able to customize and say, okay, there's 36 games, or I don't know how many, Jared, you counted. Your count is probably more
My list
current
was
than
a
mine.
little less than 30, but I didn't count everything. But yeah,
Okay, whatever.
But your number is
So
pretty close. It was reasonable.
Okay, so of the, let's say, 32 games that are in Decentraland, this is the total. You don't include Strong Hand. You don't include Ice Poker. It's like the Bible. It's like it's always at the top, because you just don't count it, but you count everything else. And then you parse and divide that out, right? you need to put it into context. And the only way you can get that context is if you have the raw data. And then you can go drill down deeper into DCL Metrics site and see, okay, how do they determine if somebody is AFK? Like they've got this figure. It's one of the things we did in Testing Tuesday yesterday was, okay, who spends the most time AFK? What place has the most user? And it's a place that I'd never heard of. And the time that they
is it the Playverse place?
No, it was
because they have these like regeneration thing for games.
I don't know, but it was basically 9 hours on average of their users that were AFK, and it's like, okay, so if you're going to use that particular name of that particular game as a comparison for, they've got this much, user in world time spent, and it's like, okay, yeah, however, most of that time, 9 hours on average, is AFK. I don't want to.
Well, how do they gauge if you're AFK? Is it based on your avatar moving? Because there are a couple games, for some unimaginable reason I can't fathom, where there are like arcade boxes you end up playing. So like, if your avatar isn't moving because you're like just engaging with the game UI, I could see. I don't think that's what's occurring for whatever the game you're talking about is, just because it's. But technically, depending on how they're calculating AFK, I could see it being possible.
Yeah. Okay, you're really deep in the weeds. I don't know is my answer, but
Fair enough.
My general premise is like, okay, before it was just wild speculation of, we're going to do this awesome thing and you should back us because isn't this awesome? And now, and again, it takes time for people to go and look up those numbers and make those comparisons and get out a Google spreadsheet and to put them one next to the other. And I've seen you do that specifically, Jared. But it's like, you got to do that. You got to do that, and that's what makes the whole place better, because now it's no longer just, yeah, this is kind of a neat idea, versus, oh, this is demonstrably a better idea, or this is demonstrably a totally terrible idea. To go back and like look at all of the hundreds of thousands of dollars that have been spent on things where people claim that they're going to access millions of people in audience, and what they actually expose their Decentraland to, or their particular event to, is in the hundreds or in the thousands, and you have cost per user, and it's like $2,000 per user is what they ended up spending. And it's like, holy shit, for $2,000 a user, you could just buy a parcel of land and give it to a person and get more content and get more time spent in world than what you just did.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, but for me, I think for games, honestly, it should be like the first batch of a game like proposal, and I think they should all have to be open source. Like the community should just get to make like that core to that game loop and reskin it a million times. But I feel like it should just be like, okay, our goal is to make this fun core game loop. Like, because in game design, like you're trying to like, okay, what are like the 3 things the person's going to do like infinitely to have their fun before you kind of like, so like for example, Cookie, the game where you like run a little cafe simulator, like it's stupid simple. Like you go and get some cans and you put them in these 3 machines, and then customers come in and you feed them. Like it's like a very solid little core game loop. And like I don't believe they've ever asked for a grant or anything. And like I think Butterfly Prawn's another excellent example of someone who made like a really good, easy to define, and like fairly addictive core game loop, especially because they've had like the most organic growth, I feel like, of players. But like I feel like the wrong questions are necessarily like, okay, like you use your first grant, but you're only getting 5 users a day. Like that's not like, I don't feel like that's the right question at this stage of where DCL is. It should just be like, okay, like did you make something like kind of fun? Like can I, as a person who's going to vote on this, go and like appreciate that, like you've and obviously it's hard because not everyone has worked in game design.
So then what's your metric? Like. If it's not DAU per dollar per DAU, what I think
it's just, I feel like it should literally be like 100 community members should go and play it and then report back like, hey, did you have fun? Did you for 2 minutes in that moment? Like it doesn't even have to be sustained fun. It just has to be like, yeah, in the activities of the like, go start at home base, go grow my plants, harvest my plants,
that's
turn
what
it
testing,
into this thing.
That's what Testing Tuesday is, although it's not. It doesn't have the application that you're suggesting of having it be the metric that we tie to future grant proposals. But I mean, if that's something that you think is of value, or anybody else thinks is of value, they can always use more people on Testing Tuesday. And if the time on Tuesday isn't valid for you or good for you, then talk to Fifi, talk to the other people that Polywin, and get that set up. So just like I was like, let's get 50 people signed up for VP, and now whatever, loads of people have VP. Let's get more people into Testing Tuesday, because if dollar spent per daily active user isn't, and I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh, okay, you've got a pretty valid argument. It's like, okay, well, there is something that already exists. It's called Testing Tuesday. Let's get more people in on Testing Tuesday so people can, go to the curation station. I'd never gone to that before, but because I was part of Testing Tuesday, I checked it out.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, no, it is.
It is.
There's things that I suggested. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of weird, and they got direct active feedback, and that's a result of the grant support squad going out and trying to make things better, trying to make the grants better. But yeah, it just requires more involvement. And
Testing Tuesday should you should get XVP for participating or something. There needs to be a way to like. Those POABs should come with VP, or I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. I should ask.
I agree.
Because like
easier thing to set after the fact. But go ahead.
Because that's the because people are always saying there needs to be time spent in World VP, which I think is much easier to rig and much harder to police. But like actively participating in Tester Tuesday and giving feedback to grants and like being as informed as humanly possible about like what is going on, like that, and then confirmable by a squad member being like, yep, like I mean, I guess having squad members being able to hand out VP could lead to problems, but generally speaking, I think that we can probably find a way to regulate that and prevent someone just going like, I give away all the VP. But I think that makes sense though, to like reward participation like that.
Sorry, Jared. Go ahead, Yasha.
Can you guys hear me? I put my headphones on, but sometimes they act funny.
You're a little quiet, but I can hear you, yes.
Hold on, let me take out my headphones then.
While we wait, I would like to thank everyone for being here. Really appreciate your time. Make sure to like and retweet the room. And if you're new to Decentraland and have any questions, just feel free to request to come up to speak. Take it away, Yasha.
Yeah, hopefully this is a little better. But yeah, I think data is very, very important. Testing Tuesday sounds good, and that's a good way to get community feedback. So that sounds interesting. I'm going to try to check it out. But I think having readily available data would be really important and would help the community when deciding on these grants and making decisions and seeing what's realistic. I think that in the past, in events that we've done in Decentraland, we'd have to gauge it. Either we'd have to ask the foundation for data and hope that they give it to us, or gauge it through like wearables claims, like how many thousands of wearables were claimed or something like that, which is cool, but it's not as much data as we'd like. Luckily, we do have some data on like music festivals, like from Metaverse Music Festival, so that's helpful, and we know that a lot of people go to those. But yeah, how long people stay would be a really, really nice metric to have readily available for the community.
With speaking of metric, a shout out to Blease down there, who is in the top 10 of most visited parcels in a day.
Blease has a top 10 most visited parcel.
He is. If you go to DCL metrics and you look at explorers for the one day, so I believe that's current. Blease is in the top 10. He visited 80 parcels, compared to Derek, who did 210.
Dang, Derek, you visited 210 parcels in the last 24 hours? I see him right now over here in the CBD build. He's just chilling, sitting all quietly, being polite. He's probably going to be like, that's probably wrong. I mean, I have seen like inconsistencies in the past with metrics, with like saying that someone was like on for like 24 hours when they're like, nope, I did not log in for 24 hours, but okay. Um, so it might be that there's like a delay or something. Go ahead,
But
Scott.
I was just going to say simple. I mean, that's an excellent point. That okay, in this particular instance, you guys were wrong, and that's part of what Testing Tuesday is for, is to be able to just talk to the creators and say, hey, there was this situation, and then they can answer that question for you and be like, okay, you know what, we didn't realize that that was an issue. And I don't remember specifically what the instance was, but there was a discussion period. It was one of the best Testing Tuesdays that I've been to. I gotta say, the way they had it set up, and we got the document ahead of time, but we had this discussion period and they were like, oh, we didn't consider that. I think it was something that Cheddar Queso had brought up. But they're like, okay, you know what? Now we'll go back and we'll try to make that change. We'll try to incorporate that into our current round of development. And I know there are some other projects out there that don't even wait for Testing Tuesday. They've just done that on their own. That's part of their budget and their timeline, their cycle for developing the game is to go and seek that information out, and make that iterative process. So yeah, so there's that already exists. I know they have a form on their website, so if you see something that is wrong, you just go in the upper right hand corner and click on the thing, and then say, hey, this is an error. And Zhang Wu, I think, is the front end developer, and he's like, yeah, we'll respond within a day. It's like in CBD, if somebody comes in and asks a question, we try to, at least address your concern, if not give you an answer or connect you with somebody in our network within 24 hours.
I see. Gotcha. Yeah, and even just to confirm, like Derek was saying, yeah, that the time spent on Parcel is very wrong, according to what he's seen. And I mean, even when you look at your own personal profile, like for mine, latest downvote was back in March of 20 or March 29th, but I voted yesterday. So
I
there's
mean,
like a
part of that is
2 month delay there.
part of that is a data pull. It's like they they have to pay every time that their server pings another server and scrapes that data. So whatever. I'm not trying to make excuses. I just know that there are reasons for every one of those instances that you've pointed out, and whether or not it's an easy fix or it's just a, hey, wait another 24 hours and go back. But it's like, I think there's a lot of gaps in information, like there always have been. I think back to a year ago when we were having these discussions and just how maddening some of these gaps in the information were, and to just give props to all of us. I think it's gotten better. I think it's important to go back and count your blessings, and to see that um, the people at Foundation. I remember trying to get an answer from somebody from Foundation. I didn't even know who to contact, but there were a group of us that wanted to have a Pride event, and the only way I was able to find out was a press release that somebody who wasn't even involved with Foundation found out for me. That's when I found out that even the dates for Metaverse Pride last year. Um, and now this year it was like, okay, they handed it off to somebody else, and they, the whole community was involved, and they like actively asked for that. But my point is that um, there are ways to get the information. It is going to take a little bit extra work, but more importantly than just our ways to get there are systems in place that make trying to get that information. So it's like we've made that next step, and I think it's just part of the human condition to be like, okay, we've habituated to that, and now we expect more, which we absolutely should be doing. But part of I think our responsibility as community members is to now use those tools, is to now use those systems so that we can then get the information and then start using that information. Because as somebody who creates that tool or creates that system, if nobody then goes through and starts using it, am I going to be inclined to want to make a new system that somebody else demands 2 months from now? Probably not.
Only if a grant is involved. Sorry. That's the dark side of everything. Sorry, Scott. Were you finished with your thought?
No, I was totally finished with my thought, and I laughed. I just, whenever I'm done, I like to just mute because my dogs usually run around barking, whatever. I do need to go though. I just wanted to, say thank you for holding this space. I've been gone for the last few weeks. Been making stuff, but thank you, Sinful and Kanessa, for holding this space every week. I appreciate you guys. Thank you everybody for showing up, and I'll see you in World sometime soon.
Thank you for popping in, Scott. Always nice talking to you, and thank you for the stimulating conversation. It's always good having you here.
Have a
Let's
good day,
see.
Scott.
Thanks. We'll see you guys later.
Let's see. Would like to welcome Marcos. I saw you pop up to the speaker panel. What's up, Marcos? Been a while since we've spoken.
Hello. Yes, wanted to come by and give some info about what we are working on with Decentraland Argentina. So yes, that mostly.
I see. What you got? What you doing? Anything exciting?
Yeah, we are going to make a big event this Sunday celebrating the month of the independence of Argentina. And we are going to bring a lot of artists that are going to perform their music on the festival. We are going to make giveaways celebrating, the metaverse and our culture, making an event with our language and, with things that we are making. So yeah, we are super excited. We have been working on this for months with the people from the Central Argentina, with the people from the Central and Brazil that is going to give us the place, and they are going to make the building as beautiful as it can be. So we are really happy about what's happening and what we are working. And it will be beautiful to see some of you going there and experience a bit about our culture and what we kind of, it's like celebrating something that's from us that we wanted to make for a long time. The way I entered the metaverse was just performing music in the start, then connecting with more people, then onboarding people, and then all of the sudden it grew to make a whole community. And this is a way of celebrating our culture, the metaverse, and all we are building as a team. And everything's for the community mostly, and it will be beautiful to show it on this Sunday.
What time on Sunday?
Let me check because we have like 4 different time zones, so it's kinda confusing at the time. But it's going to be at 8 p.m. UTC, and I'm going to pin it here. And yeah, there are going to be like 6 performances, DJ set, and a lot of music from our culture too. So I'm super excited, and you can see the wearables on the picture, and it's like super futuristic kind of vibe. So we are really, really hype about it. We are working with the Central and Brazil, and we are wishing to onboard a lot of people that day. And so yeah, we are super excited, and I'm super happy to bring this news that we were working for so long.
Is this you making a call to the community? We're onboarding people. We got people coming through. Let's go. All hands on deck.
Yeah, because it was like something we started planning long time ago. But in the start we were like only a few, and then we started growing and growing, and with the help of the community, we started like welcoming more people. Myself, I'm working too on Spain, onboarding people from the first time. As a music producer myself, so I like to bring musicians and performers so they can bring their fan base and the people to experience for the first time, like the way I did. The first time I joined to the metaverse was to see a music show without having any idea, and that blew my mind. Finding that connection with every artist. So I'm like trying to replicate that, bringing more music shows from different cultures and giving the artists the opportunity to express themselves from a different point of view, kind of, or a different experience, and people joining for the first time and seeing that, feeling the way I felt the first time, and also the people from Decentraland listening to different music and new songs from another country that is like too far away. So I think that's quite exciting, and yeah, we are super happy that it's going to happen. We have wearables and a lot of stuff coming. We are still working, like, and we are going to do so like even 5 minutes before the event. So yeah.
Well, I'm very, very happy for you. Very excited to see what you and the team have been coordinating, and looking forward to meeting some new musicians and listening to some music. Like it's important that like we as a community show support to these musicians, incoming musicians, and show them that there is value in this space through the people that are here, the passionate people. Um, so yeah, definitely. So you said 8 p.m. UTC. That would be 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Um, sounds pretty possible for me. I'll have to pop in while I'm preparing for Music Matrix and enjoy the show.
Yeah, we try to find a time zone that will be cool for Sunday, but also for the community, because there was a gap at the time, and we were like, okay, the Independence Day was last week, and we were like, okay, let's make it next week, and in a moment, to bring something kind of new, and yeah, we are super hyped. Eh, for example, you know that one of my first shows ever was the Penguin Fight Club. That was the way I met you, and it was like all of me was like, whoa, this is crazy, oh, this is beautiful. So now bringing this to the table in a way like something this important, because the way we are trying to make it, and from the start, when we started planning like every event, is mostly to think about the community, and we really appreciate everything, for example, the Central and Brazil makes, when they make events and you can see a lot of people from Brazil and you can see a lot of things going on. We wanted to make kind of a thing, bringing something different, something from our culture, and a different experience from the whole Decentraland community, and that's what makes us the most happy. And it will be beautiful to see you and see all of the community with us partying and enjoying and having the best time we can.
I am bullish. I am bullish, and I'm so happy you brought up that performance at Penguin Fight Club. That being kind of like your first show. I mean, even for that, that was like one of my firsts as well. It was the first time that I was put in charge of coordinating like a bigger event on with more resources and stuff like that. Still wondering how I did, but I'm like, I'm really happy about how it all came out because like, you know, you like from what I remember, like you were our final show of the evening, kind of like the main show in a way, and it was like really nice just to like see you on stage, and like from there it was all natural and genuine how it all happened, like the setup and getting it all going.
Yes, I have beautiful memories about that time, and I every time when musicians and performers ask me about how the metaverse works on music shows and everything, I tell them that experience that I was at my home, and all of the sudden I was performing my songs from a small city from Argentina at the time, and in my memory, being like one of my first events, all of the sudden I see a lot of penguins dancing, and it was like, whoa, what is this? So I always bring that memory, and as as myself, it was a beautiful moment, mostly because when I was super anxious and everything, you were on the other side, like telling, it's going to be okay. You enjoy the music, and I have great memories, and I'm super grateful, and I want to do the same for more people. And it's been a year, I think, from for that time, so this is like great. That now I'm on the side of bringing artists and showing them how it works and how to set up a wallet and everything. And you know, I was the only kind of one of the only persons making music from Argentina on the metaverse, and now there are more faces and there are more people like performing for the first time, and that's super valuable for me and from the whole community. And we are super happy, and I hope more people can have the experience like I had of all of the time being on the metaverse, showing music for the first time, and seeing penguins dancing and a lot of crazy wearables, and seeing the beautiful art of the wearable makers. And that's an experience that everybody has to feel it.
I love what you kind of had said. It's like, you started off as a performer. You went through the whole process, the whole learning process, the uncertainty, the technical stuff, and then, you came out through the other side, and you gained this knowledge, you never quit, and now a year later, it's you are uh providing these same opportunities to musicians that are around you and like your community, as well as like Argentina, Brazil. And it brings me great joy to see the growth in what just like what feels like one short year has brought, or like the development that has happened.
Yeah, completely. A lot of learning on the way. The first time that I entered this, most of the time people ask me like, "How do you enter the metaverse?" And I remember I was typing on Google metaverse, and without knowing anything, and the first page that I entered was a create your avatar kind of page, and I was like, "Oh, okay, now I have my character," and it was a page to download your JPG picture, and it wasn't nothing about the metaverse. And I was like, oh, so this is not. And then I found out about Decentraland, like Googling, and I entered there without having any idea. I got into a show, and it was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I started learning like step by step everything, and making a lot of mistakes. I remember the first time that I ever performed a show, I learned about volume, music, about how to show the songs from my side and everything. It was kind of insane, all of the information that I got. And then I had, gotten through all of these steps that led me to learn more and I'm super grateful because I met wonderful people on the way. And that's a big part of, the Decentral Argentina community also, that we are now a team, people like working on the making the flyers, and people are working on getting more artists, and people working on creating a building, for example, from the Central Brazil. And meeting all these people and having all these experiences like I had with you when I performed for the first time, when I performed on True Band Room, and when I used to be on Anthem Radio, and all of the wonderful people that teach me about how it worked, and me making a lot of mistakes on the way, uh, throw me to moments like this that are more of a celebration. And going step by step a bit more, like onboarding people, teaching what we learn every day, and I'm super grateful all of the people that I cross paths with. So I'm trying to, in a way, doing the same, and with a beautiful team, making the best event weekend, so all of you can enjoy a moment of, I don't know, like a Sunday, just chilling, listening to some music and different performances, getting wearables and stuff, and you know, I'm super happy, hype, and grateful of everything that we went through and everything we learned.
Let's go. Let's go. And yeah, dude, happy to see the growth and keep pushing forward. Let's see. I'm gonna pass it over to Cowboy Tom. I saw that you came up around the same time Marcos did. How are you, Cowboy?
Man, what's going on, guys? Blessings, family, and friends, man. I'm just chilling, bro. Just came to support you, man.
Well, thank you for being here. We just chilling. It seems like we're looks like at a point that we're starting to like wind down here. Conversations aren't as intense as they used to be. Sad face, teardrop just running down my eye. If there's any topics that anyone that's currently in the speakers would like to bring up, you're more than welcome to. Or if there's any new listeners down there in the listeners panel, like feel free to request to come up to speak, say hello, introduce yourselves. We want to meet you.
I'll start the conversation off if you want. I don't know if you knew, but we had like a little DCL meetup the other day on Monday, locally in New York, man, and that was pretty cool. So we're looking to do more of those. I don't see Meta DJ or Bio here, but we had Meta DJ come out, Biometa came out, Fahrenheit came out, Karma came out, and it was a couple other people I'm probably missing. Oh, Jedi came out. Jedi's in the listeners, so if he wants to come up, he could tell you more about it. But yeah, man, we're just trying to do more little like micro meetups. If you're in a major city or a major metro area, try to meet up with some of your DCL family and just chill, man. I got to meet some faces I haven't seen before. Bio I've seen before in life, but others I haven't met yet. And it's cool, man. When you meet up in person, you kind of solidify that bond. And we should try to do more of those. Just really get out there and just have little micro meetups, man.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, a Meta DJ came in here like at the beginning of the space, and he was still all hyped about meeting everyone in New York. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Meta came up from like Philly. His girlfriend, I think, was from like Florida. So a couple people came, weren't local. But if you can, coordinate it and stuff, New York definitely is a great place to come in the summertime. And we're out here. There's a lot of DCL family in New York. So New York is definitely a great place to come for some micro meetups.
Yeah, I recommend Cowboy if you missed the earlier parts of the space to listen to it because we definitely had some conversations with some others that are also in New York that we didn't know about, and we definitely want to start planning some stuff. So we should get
No
some group
facts, dude.
PMs going or something.
No facts, dude. We're in a hit up Bio. Bio's really good at like organizing everything. So like Bio put us all into Bio had my number, so he put us all into an actual like group text, with our numbers and made it happen like overnight. It wasn't like planned in ahead or anything. But there's tons of New Yorkers in Web3 period and musicians. I host an open mic night, and a lot of these guys are New Yorkers. They're not in DCL, but they're New Yorkers, and they're good people to onboard. So I think we should really try to saturate the New York area with these little micro meetups and reach out to people who are also, who are musicians but not in the DCL family yet. Because I see a lot of them come on my open mic nights, and I look at their profiles, and a lot of them are New Yorkers, New Jersey, in the metro area.
It makes a lot of sense then for the like New York and LA that there should definitely just be like a squad of people trying to onboard new people into the cults. be like, guys, have you heard about Decentraland? There are people who will actually listen to your music and look at your art there. Like, they'll be so excited that you came that they will actually appreciate you. I feel like that's a sales pitch that many artists who are like struggling to get anyone to look at their work would appreciate.
You make a good point, dude. Because
Totally.
what we're trying to do right now, me and Bio, is since I host an open mic night, and I sometimes get like over 100 people come on and want to like perform. We're trying to figure out how we can do like my open mic night spaces in DCL where we'll give like every artist 5 or 10 minutes, or 2 or 3 songs. They can come up and perform, and we'll just bounce the video feed around. I mean, whoever wants to come up next, and do like a 2 or 3 hour event or something like that. So me and Bio are trying to figure that out. Because there's tons of like super talented people, man. It's unbelievable. You go into these open mic spaces, and not even just mine, but other open mic spaces, and you listen to some of the talent that's in Web3 that doesn't know about DCL. Those are easy people to onboard, man, and there's hundreds of them out there.
No, yeah, there's no lacking of talent. That is not the issue. It's getting people to like pay attention to it, or like stop and listen, like, because people are so used to like a society with the gatekeepers who like tell you what is cool, so they're not like prepared to like hear a musician and be like, oh, I am deciding for myself this is cool and I'm going to support it. They're just like, can Carson Daly tell me if this is okay or not? It's like, I don't know. Hopefully we can get through this to back to like not being afraid to make our own decision on like the music we like.
Yeah, the algo's definitely working against us, bro. Go ahead, Spotty. My bad.
Oh, Tom, I was just gonna say I'm gonna DM you because I definitely want to learn more about what you guys are doing, and because whatever happens with the grant proposal, like we're doing our festival no matter what. It might not be 4 days if we don't, if our grant proposal doesn't happen, but we're doing the festival no matter what, and we want to use it as a platform to get a lot of artists that have been grinding in DCL opening for a national act, for the first time. So, gonna hit you up.
I appreciate it, man. That's really where I'm trying to take it to, man. Is get a lot of these artists and talent out into the real world, and work it that way. That's really where I focus my marketing is, on the outside world.
Totally feel you.
I feel like music really brings everybody together because it brings the visual artist, the wearables. It could, it could involve nails. It can involve everything, and just kind of like the music is what kind of brings the people together. So I think it's a great onboarding tool for DCO.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great onboarding tool, period. Like NFT week, I saw a ton of people get onboarded, going to a Jack Frost concert or going to a music concert. CK can attest to this. So, it really helps onboard people if they actually can meet the DCL family in person and come to like a performance. I noticed that's the blueprint. That really is like the onboarding blueprint
Does
right
Jack Frost put the microphone inside of his helmet yet?
there. I
I'm
don't
trying to
think
ask that
so.
with as little shade as possible.
When I saw him perform, CK was there. I think he had the mic, right? CK, he was just using a wireless mic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's in the helmet. I'm trying to like think about it because I've been to a couple of Jack Frost performances in person, and like this was obviously the biggest one I'd been to because it was like a larger venue. The year before at a TNYC, it was in a more intimate sort of like studio venue. Well, this was like definitely like a bar with a huge stage and all that stuff. So I'm trying to remember. I mean, there was a mic there, but I don't even really remember how much he was using it. I wasn't paying attention to the mic because he's dressed as an astronaut.
Dude,
I
he's
just
a
remember from
legend, bro.
the stream days, it would be like he would clearly be like playing back the audio and like vibing with it, but then like between it would be him talking like through the headphone, like just very muffled through the headphones. I'm like, it can't be impossible to get a headphone that you can put inside the helmet. Like there has to be a way to perfect this where you can then.
Well,
But
you
I'm
can
just
you can
neurotic.
do. I ride motorcycles, and you can put a Bluetooth, in your helmet, a wireless Bluetooth, so you can answer the phone, and it's voice activated. So I'm sure there's something he can, buy that does the same thing.
They're probably pretty expensive, but I don't know. He has an astronaut suit. He looks like a man who can afford the nicest headphone for his head. But maybe maybe that's just my imagination. I always assume I assume everyone in Web3 and DCL is just infinitely richer than they actually are every time. I'm always like, oh, you're also just a person trying your hardest. I thought you were a millionaire. My bad.
Oh man, I remember my early Jack Frost shows. I love that he came up in this conversation. Yasha, take it away.
I just wanted to kind of run something, by the community. I'm just kind of putting connecting dots while we're having this conversation, but and not to bring it back to all time high every time. My bad if we're talking about it too much. But Sinful, the last spaces we had when we announced the all time high, the main feedback that we got is that the community wants live performances. So we took in that feedback and we kind of are planning to shoot those performances live, and we're potentially planning to do it in New York. So I wonder if there's interest is like while we're shooting those performances live for like the headline acts each night and the opening acts potentially to if potentially some people would be interested in coming to see that live, and that's something that the community would be interested in. I don't know, just kind of floating an idea.
I would love to roll through anything if I'm in town for sure.
And that's it might be LA actually, just to set expectations, but I love the thinking wherever it is.
Yeah, I mean they're on both ends of the country. Yeah, there are pretty um like DCL member heavily populated areas. Like or California would be one where there's a lot of users that are in DCL. A lot of people seem to live there, as well as like Florida, New York. So yeah, I think that will even be flexible. We'll have to put the word out and see if like the idea is accepted. Let's see, whose hand went up first, Cowboy or Tiny?
Yeah, Tiny, go ahead. I'll go second. I think Tiny was the new speaker.
Thanks, y'all. I'm driving. But with the live performance stuff, I know that Shark Boy, when he did the metaverse for Pepe Fest in Miami, he got a lot of good feedback based off of the interactiveness of like watching people live paint. So I mean, like, if anybody is interested, I know Shark Boy would definitely be someone who could probably help you like figure that out, or like give you some statistical numbers on like how well it was with live performances and the engagement. But I thought that that was super cool that people in Miami could watch the live painting and then also interact with it in their metaverse. So I may be off on this topic, but it definitely sounds like what he did, which I thought was so cool. And I think live performances in the metaverse or just anywhere in general make people feel like they're a part of something. So anything that's live is probably going to make people feel more included.
Definitely, live is king. Live is king, and I really appreciate Sinful for speaking that with his chest. Because that's a real thing for both the artist and the fan. And sometimes as the artist, you're limited. And you're basically given a brief of like, this is what we need, and sometimes they need it pre-recorded. But as a music fan, I feel like, yeah, like Sinful helped me remember that like live is the best. You can't recreate or you can't simulate that live interactivity and being able to react in the moment.
Yo, Spotty, have you ever been to a Shark Anthony metaverse show?
I have. Hell yeah.
He fucking brings the energy.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. That's the homie. Absolutely.
So like to even see that, like have the opportunity to even see that like in a real life setting, like that, oh my God, it must be amazing. Every time he has one of those like or performs at one of these like events in Miami, like I literally only find out like 2 days before, and then it's usually on one of those days where I'm like just ridiculously swamped, and I'm like, fuck, I can't leave my computer. I have to do a show later. Dang it, Shark. Maybe next time.
No, totally. Yeah, it's different. It's like that, man. Yeah, I thank God for Decentraland because I can't keep up with like the nightlife, like the nightlife schedule.
There's definitely more elements, or more places to be and stuff like that. Here, I'll pass it over to Cowboy, and then after Cowboy, I would like to introduce Deuce Lee. I know he's been very quietly just waiting his turn.
Yeah, what's good, family? This question's for CK actually. So CK has these magical nails that you can tap a phone and your information pops up. So is that like available for retail now? Like, can I buy that? Can I throw a party where a bunch of girls, pretty girls, have the nails on and we're playing music and it's like a cocktail hour and I invite a bunch of women? Like, what can we do with that?
Well, I guess it depends on how many sets you want. I mean, I do custom sets mostly. I have made more like generic sizing before. But yeah, I'm more like I'm still in this place where people really just kind of reach out to me on Instagram or through my email and they tell me what project they have and then we talk about like design styles or what it looks like cuz I do a lot of like photo shoot, fashion editorials, brand campaigns, like things that typically I'm like, okay, here's the production. This is what the style looks like. We're looking for 4 to 5 sets. I kind of get those briefs. But I'm definitely interested in doing something in person with nails because I've always had this dream of doing IRL nail pop ups prior to the pandemic hitting. Before I even did nail art, I was like super into it. I was concepting my own, but I wasn't actually doing it yet. And so I was like, let's throw some nail parties. This sounds sick. So
Yeah,
definitely down.
that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking like a women's conference, like entrepreneurial conference, where they can, this is like the tech we can show them. They come get their nails done. You have some nail technicians there, so they come, they get a mani pedi. You hook them up with the technology. Maybe there's some type of subscription service or something like that. I like that model. And then it's sponsored by DCL family and everything. And like that's what I'm kind of thinking, something like that, because women is definitely like I like my personal my history in crypto. Actually, a woman onboarded me in crypto 5 years ago. So like I think definitely like women are more serious about entrepreneurship. Sometimes men are more degenish in like Web3. So I think the route is definitely with the technology is definitely women. And if you can do like an entrepreneurial Web3 conference, or maybe not even put Web3 in there and just make it just like a Web2 conference, and it's just sponsored by us, something like that. And I'm about to have a physical space soon, so this is stuff I'm thinking about doing during the day, where you can have like a luncheon or something like that, and then you can have they come get a mani pedi. It's like a pop up. Like you're saying. So that's some
Yeah.
ideas I'm
So
thinking, because I think that what you have, and then seeing my friend's video go viral. I mean, that's something definitely we should be exploring and being consistent with.
yeah, I definitely agree. I have lots of plans, but I'm only one person, and I am having difficulty doing all of them because things are doing so great in the nail art space for me. But yeah, so hit me up. Let's definitely talk about some stuff, and we'll see what we can work out because I want to do more IRL stuff, and I want to keep pushing this. And I have plans for products in the future. I'm in research and development right now and patenting, and so there will be more stuff in the future. But yeah, until I can get that all officially set up, it's like still me manually doing a lot of things.
You know what I want? One question I have for you is, like, let's say you want to do a nail pop up in a club space, so it's a bar, bar or nightclub. So during the day, let's say if I did a nail pop up there, where like I brought in the pedicure machines and stuff like that, like would we need like a temporary license? Because I know nail salons need license, and I see the license ends up when I go into the nail salon. So is there like a way we can get like a day temporary permit in New York for that or something like that? Have you ever looked into that for the
I
pop-ups?
haven't looked into permitting as far as like being a salon owner and being able to have licensed nail techs do that, but I mostly work in the press on space, so I'm not even really doing people's hands that often, even though I can. So with press ons, all you're basically doing is picking out a set and then sticking them on, whether it's with the glue or the stickers. And the style I do, if you've seen it, it's very avant garde. It's very over the top. It is not everyday wear nails. I do not do standard nail salon nail designs. Not that I can't, but my brain is extra all the time. And simple stuff, I'm like, no, that's not enough. So yeah, it's mostly like art pieces. And yeah, so it could be a situation where there's a bunch of pre-designed sets that are there, and then people get them applied, and then we could do more with that and what that means. And hey, maybe it is setting up something that's a little bit like an editorial shoot in a corner, where people can get photos taken and stuff. But yeah, I think there's a lot we can talk about. I have a ton of ideas.
No, that's cool. I think actually simplifying it so that like it is everyday nail wear, and the average girl who just does simple design on their nails can just walk up to anybody and just pass off their information by tapping their phone. You know what I'm saying? So I think keeping it simple, stupid, actually is the way. Just because think about it, like not every entrepreneurial woman or businesswoman's walking around with like your kind of nails. Like when I saw you, you know what I'm saying? They're walking around, usually normal nails, maybe some design on there, maybe long, but usually, like, you're a woman, so it's usually average, and to the, if they're a businesswoman, it's going to be on point to what a businesswoman dresses. So I think maybe simplifying it so that you can capture all those people would be a good idea.
Yeah, I am aware of the commercial uses for it, and I haven't not considered that. But if you've seen enough of my Instagram and my style, I don't know that's something that I seek to pursue personally, because of my artistic preference. But that doesn't mean that there isn't like a happy medium in a way, because I have done things like that with other clients that their target demographics are not mine, and so I do kind of mold at times to fit certain brands. But yeah, typically I don't go for the just solid one coat thing. So that's not something that I would ever seek to want to do artistically, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about what that looks like. Also, for those in the space who want to know, because of what you said, I do prefer they them pronouns. I'm genderqueer, so I prefer to not be gendered if possible.
No,
Anyways,
I'm sorry about that if I did.
there's a lot of
Um,
hands up though. We could talk about nail art
yeah,
forever.
no,
So
for
I do want
sure.
to get some over to some of the hands. I don't know if it was Scott or Tiny,
Y-
whoever was
Yeah.
first, but
Let's see. I think I saw Scott's hand pop up. Then Tiny. But Tiny, would it be okay if after Scott, like we go over to Casually? He is a new speaker in the space.
Oh yeah, I'll DM CK with my questions. It was just based off of what they do, so I'll just DM.
Thank you, Tiny. We'll come back to you. Don't you worry. Scott, take it away.
Yeah, this will be really quick. Just for I think Cowboy Tom was asking about the. I don't know specifically what brand or what technology CK is using, but you can do something as simple as an NFC or near field communication. It's an RFID chip with a specific formatting, specific protocol. The problem with that is that it can be spoofed. So if you're looking to do anything with an NFT and have it be immutable and non editable, there are some other options that are out there. So as soon as the item is scanned, that it automatically gets entered onto the blockchain. I don't remember the name of that particular brand, but yeah, I just wanted to. You were asking about that technology. I had some additional information. So if you're interested in that, Cowboy Tom, for other applications or for this specific example that you gave, you can just contact me, DM on Discord or wherever.
No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's other things out there. You can just have a card that just taps a phone, and your whatever link you want it to go to happens. But the nails make it more fun. The nails capture the women, and I think that could be really important to onboarding. But definitely go to casually. What's up, man?
Yeah, I appreciate that. What's up, my guy? GM, everybody. Yeah, I just acquired my first brick and mortar building, style business, right? So I have Crypto Casually LLC, and I make music. I'm a recording and a performing artist, and I've been like working towards trying to find somewhere where I could live and create a real business, like something that's sustainable and tangible, to both Web 2 and 3. So I'm literally moving in right now. I'm like 5 minutes away from the crib, yo. And I fucking manifested this shit. It's crazy. I told people, I was like, yo, I don't have what I want lined up. I'm like, I got to hit the roads. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, yo, I got to go talk to people. Like, I'm not fucking, like, I'm built like this. Like, I go talk to people. Like, I go walk in the buildings I'm curious about. I go ask a motherfucker for directions. Like, that kind of shit goes a long way. And I think what I find is a lot of people respect the hell out of it because so many people have gone away from actual communication. So really my original question, when you're talking about the nails and talking about the in real life business, I'm curious as to what kind of maybe pointers you may have. Like, when like everybody goes out to the bars, they got the one bar, it's got the big neon heart sign, right? And then a little white couch, and everybody and their fucking sister got to have a picture underneath of it talking about out with the girls tonight and shit, hashtags and shit. You know what I'm talking about? So, like, what kind of those things, you know what I mean, that are blockchain related? Because I onboard like a motherfucker, and there's no music scene here where I'm at. I am going to be that, but I do spoken word and poetry, and it's really kind of taken over me, and I want to kind of have like that kind of pop-up feel, like, because that kind of breaks people off easy and shit. You can't just come out here as a white rapper covered in tattoos talking about yo I got a studio. It's like, this don't work in this fucking town in Indiana, you dig? So maybe we start them off with the poetry and we break them off easy. But yeah, any pointers, or yeah, I hope it wasn't too long-winded. Nice to meet you.
No, man. Yo, congrats, bro. Like, what's the business you're doing? Like, what's the in real life business?
Well, it's going to be a recording studio. I know that there's the school here, that it's actually the high school I went to for 2 years. They have a big music program, but it's like growing here, but nobody has anywhere to record because I lived 10 miles from here for the last year and a half, and I had to drive an hour to get my fucking songs recorded this last year and a half if I wanted to go to a studio, and that was dog shit. So I'm going to put a studio in here, and I don't know what I'm doing or anything like that, So you know how this shit is for me, bro. I'm be learning as I go and leaning on people around me, the businesses around me. I went and talked to all of them today, figured out what they doing, how they doing it right, what they think they doing right and not. So yeah, recording studio, something. I'm like flexible with that. I feel like I could do a lot of shit. I got a lot of skills, but I got to try and keep it, narrowed, so I think it gets the best type of exposure. Maybe that's a correct approach. I don't know.
Dude, definitely set up like a website. You definitely want that.
Got
Get
that.
your
Yep.
socials going, and yeah, charge like 40 an hour for studio time. People can come in, record vocals, load up they tracks. You know what I mean? That's what I pay over here in New York City. New York City, it's about 40, 45 an hour to go record,
Yeah,
and that
that's what it was.
includes a sound engineer. So definitely learn the sound engineering part of it because a lot of studios do include that in the price per hour. So definitely know how to work the booth. The recording booth is tricky, man. Like,
That's my plan. Yeah.
yeah, it's tricky though. I won't even lie to you. It's tricky to learn all that shit, how to do the vocals, and you definitely need Pro Tools for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every recording studio is using Pro Tools. But with all the digital interface now, you don't need much. You just need a nice Apple. You set up an
I got
iMac,
a brand new
couple
MacBook.
keyboards. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Couple keyboards, interface,
Yeah.
studio
Yeah.
monitors, maybe a
That part I'm
mixer,
not worried
but you can
about
get a
so much,
digital
right, my
mixer
G?
on the.
It's more about the marketing, right? It's more about marketing correctly and getting people's attention to me in a way that I can onboard them into music NFTs, right? Like, because like, right, that's the end goal is, look at my music NFT, please and thank you. Like, that's the end conversation right there, right? So it's like, it's a fun game. Yo, Tiny, I see your hand up. What's Gucci?
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you're trying to do something like with a music studio in an area that it doesn't have those things, if there's any type of collegiate like presence, or you said that there's a high school there, One thing that I use and that I thrive on with my best friend's business, who does like visuals and audio engineering and light tech and like all this stuff for like production, is I go to these colleges and I talk to them about partnerships with free interns, so that way they can get the know-how of like how these things work, and then they also get that experience and then stuff like that. So that's a way that you can use your community without having to spend money, but also have the knowledge that you need, you know, because if you have an audio engineer who is almost about to graduate, but they just need experience with the decks themselves or the product themselves, and you partner with that college, then you're helping not only your community, but an individual and also future musicians. So that's something you.
Before you move past that, that's a brilliant idea. A, B, what does that look like on a high school level? There's not so the town I'm in is maybe 30 minutes from the nearest college, right?
Mhm.
So flip that and it's a high school, the middle school, high school range, right? Like, how would that look?
So high school, middle school, where you look in that is, first of all, there's always extracurricular activities for high schools where they can get like programs. So if you're partnered with a college, a high school student, instead of being on the street, can come in the studio, learn from this audio engineer or whoever else you have, and then that gets them into the college, and that just gets them off the streets. That's the point of going to these schools and middle schools, is keeping the children off the streets, right? But the college is really what's getting them that extra push. And then for you trying to get a business loan or have these other things, like that's where you go and partner with like Guitar Center or somewhere in your area that has like, okay, well, we'll let you use this because you're bringing more business to us. And it's like the grassroots of things that people can do to start a business are forever endless. It's just bringing your mind to that spot of not saying, hey, I'm trying to get on you, I'm trying to get with you, you know? And then it's just banging your marketing towards that.
Yeah, that's really brilliant. I appreciate that. That's really, really, really great stuff. Thank you.
I'll also add to it in the Web3 space. You know, a lot of people are coming in here trying to be like, how do I make money? How do I make a business? And it's not bad to have some of that in your mindset. But when you come into a metaverse space or a Web3 space, I think it's be cautious about how much you're putting money at the forefront of that, because this is still nascent worlds and early days.
I mean,
And
I'm a Web3 OG. I'm a metaverse
yeah,
gang. I'm a gangster nigga metaverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
yeah, but
out
I'm
here
saying
in
like if
metaverse.
you're in the metaverse space and you're an artist and you know you're wanting to get people involved, like get a space, whether you have someone offer you some land in Decentraland or you get a hyperfi or whatever it is, but get your space. It can be relatively inexpensive. You know, a hyperfi can go for $200 for your own
Mhm.
space, or somebody in Decentraland can lend you their land for an X
Okay.
amount of time, or you can rent it for
Decentraland
relatively
is probably
cheap.
what I would do.
What'd you say?
I said Decentraland is probably where I would lean for sure.
Yeah, so there's plenty of people here in the community that have land that either, you know, let people use it for a week for a pop up, or they'll rent it out if you want to do it more long term. Or you can look at the marketplace and look at land there too. The
And you're
prices
saying
are.
mimic the IRL business with that parcel of land, my
Yeah,
metaverse parcel
yeah,
of land?
like
Gotcha.
yeah, a lot of times I try to tell people like there's so much of the IRL world that we can be bringing here, like in the experience category, and vice versa, bringing the digital experience to the IRL in person experience and meshing those as best you can. But when you're in the metaverse space, you know, like start to build this community and get this following, and then you can start to push for more of the business things, because then people are like trusting you and believing in what you're trying to do
No doubt.
before you're trying to sell them on anything.
Yeah, great points. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Casually, I'm so happy you came up to speak today. I mean, we always love meeting new people. You know, we're here at like hosting this space every Wednesday at noon. So like, always feel free to come in, ask all your questions. We want to answer them. And let's see, I'll pass it over to Spotty. What I think you had your hand
Thank
up first.
I gave you a
Okay.
follow. Appreciate you.
What's up, Casually? How you doing, bro?
What's up, Spotty, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Okay, so I had a couple notes and ideas. One is like, I would say with your IRL business, and you can lean into your Web3 relationships and your Web3 expertise, because anybody that's working with you, like somebody might pay, X amount per hour for a studio, but you're also able to like help guide people in a whole new, environment for them. So, you know, not to say that you like overcharge or anything, but just saying that like where there may be trade-offs, you know, as you're starting out, you can bring that as an advantage, you know, that you bring personally. And then I was going to say, you know, you could also think about doing like pop-up events, you know, like
That's where
I
my
don't
heart is, Spotty. That's where my vision goes.
like
Yo,
even
so
if
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
well, like even if you pulled up with a laptop, like I'm not a producer. I don't produce at all, but I have a modest home setup. I have my laptop, I have a mixer, and I have a mic, you know, and like you could pull up and have some beats and just be like engaging with people at events, you know, introducing yourself as a studio.
Body for the last 2 months, I bought all the equipment for my Bronco. I got a little Bronco Sport. I've got performance mics, recording mics. I got the big ass JBL speakers. I got all the shit to
Right.
go mobile for all these things. Exactly what you're describing. Like I'm ready to roll. I can roll up to any city and do just that. That's where the vision is.
You could also think about, you know, maybe you have your business and then maybe you're also doing some things that are more for the community and that are more educational, and maybe you have like an LLC and you have a 501c3 or something like that where you're making an investment into the community and getting a tax benefit from that.
Maybe like a nonprofit.
Yeah, and that's way over my head. Like you would want to talk to an accountant and a lawyer about that.
Of course, of course. No, that's a great idea, and again, that's part of the vision because I want to do this with and through the people because I do understand that's how you really get like ahead in like the grand scheme of life is like you take care of people. So whether it's like I said, I loved when she said working with the kids, but anything through the community like that, but I can make it IRL and it feed both Web 2, Web 3. It's like I don't see a lot of it.
Right.
You know.
Right. And then one other thing I was just going to say is like, yeah, having a presence on land is really, really powerful. Like that's something that I'm doing right now. I just bought a bunch of land. I purchased a bunch of land in Decentraland recently to build Spotty Land, where like I'm going to have, you know, basically my home base where you can go, you can see my music releases. You can go to the record store, get the vinyl record, get the music NFT, or you can go to the barber shop and get the leopard print hair, you know, things like that, and make it interactive and have quests. But I will say this, that's after spending like 2 years in Decentraland and let's say a year and a half with having a wearable or a skin that I really liked. And that and performing, you know, for 2 years there. And those things can be really powerful for you even before you are like building something on the land or renting land or buying land. Like a wearable as an artist, to me, I think as a music artist in Web3, spending some money, like couple $100 or a few $100 on a dope wearable, and you could spend more for sure, but on a dope wearable so that you can have a visual presence and be in there interacting and dancing and partying with people. I think that's like the best few $100 that I've spent. One of the best few $100 I've spent in my career.
That is such damn, bro. That's fucking solid right there. So let me ask you then, humbly, right? Like, yo, is it advantageous for both of us for me to ask, like, hey, can I get a spot next to yours, or can I buy a store in your big ass 30-acre ranch? You got the Nipsey Hustle, corner where you got everybody selling shit type shit. I definitely want to bring the value and keep it around like-mindeds. Not, you get the picture, but.
No, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's the vision for what I'm building with Spottyland, is to have 95 parcels where there's enough land for a huge festival and enough land for like a small city or like a downtown area where we have different shops and are able to showcase, all sorts of creators and co-creators, so that's the vision. So I would love to get you involved.
Scale. What would you say, like parcel-wise, size-wise, that you would?
What's that?
Parcel-wise, size-wise, what would you recommend for somebody to meet on a smaller scale? You know what I'm saying? Like just like a little storefront type gig?
I mean, there are people that probably have more like storefront type experience that could tell you more in terms of like if you're looking to really push a business like like a IRL business and connect it like that with what we're doing. The festival so far is mostly living in Decentraland. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think like you can do a lot with 2 parcels. That's for sure. You can do a lot with 1 parcel. I started with 1 parcel. I have a 1 parcel build right now that we're actually just going to expand it to a 2 parcel because the design will work really well as a 2x1 and start small and grow it that way. But yeah, I don't think you need more than one or two parcels to start.
Beautiful.
But if you wanted to, that's if you want to buy land, and there's a lot of variables. I'm speaking loosely here. An alternative way you could think about it is if you wanted to rent land from somebody, there's lots of land available for rent where you could invest, take the money you would have invested up front in the land and build something more ornate or interactive or just larger, that sort of thing.
In addition to that, you can also do DCO Worlds, which if you own a name, which is 100 mana, which right now 100 mana could be like 20 or 30 bucks. You get a whole worlds, and there's no limitations to how many parcels it is. It's just 100 MB to deploy. So that alternatively is a way to get started. It's just not connected to the what's known as Genesis City, which is like the main land where everyone like buys land. Worlds is like a way to have kind of like an in the cloud version of unlimited land.
Thank you. Noted.
Yep, thank you. And casually, would it be okay if I like at some point today just DM you a link to the community building Decentraland Discord? Just mainly because it's a very active Discord with a lot of community members, like even people that are currently here. They're very active in there. A lot of them are always more than willing to allow others to use their land or whatever it may be, like offer some sort of support or even teach you how to build. Like it's a space where you could just ask, get the information.
I'll make you a deal. I think that sounds phenomenal, for one. And if by the end of this space, you let me play my new track for you guys to give you guys a taste of my music before the space is over sometime, I'll be in the Discord as well, and we'll call this a great new meeting.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, definitely have to listen to your new track, dude. So let's see. I think it may have been Cowboy that had his hand up, and then Yasha, and then I would like to introduce a new speaker to the space.
Cool, man. Thanks, bro. Casually, I would just say, definitely, take time to focus on building it into a real world business first before you start thinking Web3, NFTs. You know what I'm saying? Make it a sustainable, real business first. You
Right,
know what I'm
right.
saying? Before so don't forget that part because the metaverse is not financially sustainable yet.
I
For most
already
people.
know.
So what I mean, like we're still trying to figure that out. Like me personally, I'm about to go through the same thing. I've been working on this nightclub deal, and I'm thinking about doing some type of subscription service that you never have to pay door fees. You can see a stream every night if you can't make it in DCL. I'm trying to figure out a way to token gate it, not token gate it from a Web3 standpoint, token gate it from a Web2 standpoint, where they pay $25 a month, and maybe even give them a digital collectible that they have to show at the door, but not call it an NFT. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking about it from a whole Web2 standpoint first before I introduce them to the Web3 side of it. So definitely keep that in mind. Build that real world business first to be sustainable.
Great advice as always, Cowboy. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Take it away, Yasha.
I was just gonna speak on a little bit on my experience and what got me into directing, but it was actually a free after-school high school program for like public school high school students in New York City and Brooklyn, and they taught you kind of how to edit and how to film and let you kind of tell a little story like a mini doc and paired you up with the mentor. And these kinds of programs are subsidized by the city, so if you can plug in to one of those wherever you are, I would say look into it. It's a great way to pay it forward, and that ended up getting me on my path to an actual career that I still do to this day. So I would say just looking at those options as well.
Yo, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Noted.
Thank you, Yasha. And I would like to welcome Only Content to the speaker panel. I believe this is your first time here. Welcome. So happy to have you.
Yo, thanks for the awesome introduction. So I DM'd a few of you actually, and I really enjoyed what you posted, what you created, your content. But I'm only content, and I'm looking for the first 100, so we can drop our first 100 as an ordinal collection. The supply is going to be infinite, of course, because we're only going to be creating content continuously. So I pay 90% to the creator, and I take 10% to build and scale the company.
Well, thank you for coming up and sharing. Is there a vision to metaverse this up, or was it? Did you just come up to share?
So I mean, the metaverse is really cool. I know they're doing something called bitmaps on Bitcoin on the ordinal space. That's supposed to revolutionize basically Bitcoin in a metaverse type fashion, and it actually helped spark the idea for only content. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be for adults.
I had a feeling it was going towards that direction on the only side. um, well, thank you for coming up. Just looking at the crowd right now, I see Keen in the building. Good to see you, fam. Been enjoying the shows. Keep it up. And yeah, would love to hear from you if you're available. See if there's anything in the future we should be keeping an eye out for. Um, oh, Cowboy, your hand is up. What's that?
What's good, family? Oh, I also see Shelly in the building. What's good, Shelly? Existence. But NFT kid. So we had some new people come in, man. But I just wanted to say, damn, I just lost my train of thought here. Shit. I was actually gonna say something. Fuck. Hold on one second.
No worries, no worries. I'll just come back to like the reset, the good old reset. Make sure to like and retweet the room. Tell your friends about us. We're here every week. We're always happy to meet new people and yeah, LFG Moonboy Wagme. What else? What other
Buy
terminology
the
could I
dip.
use? By the dip. Oh shit, yes.
FOMO in.
That's the King's Alpha, and Spotty's right here to confirm it, right?
Yeah, no, definitely, man. No,
Yes,
I actually remember
sir.
what I was gonna say though, man. I was looking into how we can use Bitcoin. The guy mentioned Bitcoin, not the ordinals, but use Bitcoin as a reward token, somehow. Because like if you talk to my mom, you talk to my dad, you talk to like the average person, a lot of them know what Bitcoin is. Like they've heard of it, you know what I'm saying? And but maybe not necessarily heard of like Ethereum or other cryptos. Like I was explaining to my dad the other day, like there's over 3,000 cryptos. It's not just Bitcoin. This whole time he thought I was like trading Bitcoin. And so I think using Bitcoin as like a reward token somehow, like where like you come to an event and maybe you get $1 worth of Bitcoin or something like that. But I think to do that, it would have to be some type of like token gated or subscription service. So let's say the person pays $25 a month, and maybe $5 to $10 of that comes back to them as a reward in that month in Bitcoin or something. It would have to be like a sustainable model, something like that. But that's what I've been looking into for my own physical space, the nightclub, is how can I like reward people for coming and reward them in something they understand or that they've heard of. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't like push them away.
Bro, as you were saying the like reward someone in Bitcoin, I was like thinking like, holy crap, that's like a high value reward or a high value event to like be at because like if you're giving away Bitcoin, I'm imagining like the real life, what would be the literal real life sense of giving away a Bitcoin in real life would be like giving away $1 of gold, like for coming to an event.
Sounds horrible.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. But it would have to definitely, like I said, be like a subscription service, or they pay some type of monthly fee, and they just don't realize that the rewards are coming out of that. So it's sustainable. You know what I'm saying? And also cap it. So like maybe they can only earn like up to $10 in Bitcoin per month. But to the average person, that's awesome, dude. Like when I talk to like my regular friends, and they're hyped, like they got $5 in Bitcoin for like doing some bullshit survey on Coinbase or something. You know, like they get super hyped for that shit.
Fucking DJs.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, like even like thinking about that example right there that you just mentioned, getting $5 worth of Bitcoin. Like I remember before the last bull run, there was like this huge push by like crypto exchanges, like get people in, we'll give you $25 worth of Bitcoin. Do this survey or do this lesson, and we'll give you some crypto. And like the crypto that they like ended up giving out back then was like, okay, 5, 10, $50, whatever. But then bull run came and those $50 were like fucking 250, 350, you know? So it kind of stacks up, and so it's almost like worth like taking advantage of these like stuff like this when even like markets are down. We like to call it a build a bear market. It could be another like a way of building.
Facts, dude. Facts. I think we got to use that marketing, just like what you were just saying. That's kind of like where I got the idea from. Like, if I go on Coinbase right now, usually they have some type of survey or lesson for like $2 to $10 worth of some bullshit crypto. You know, back in the day, like you said, it was Bitcoin, it was Ethereum. You can rack up $80, $90 and something really good. But like now it's the bullshit ones, you know what I'm saying? But taking that same blueprint, you know, if people come to my nightclub or they come to a DCL event, even better, you know, they have to, you know, subscribe and come into the, DCL events every night. You know, maybe they, like I said, they'll get, you know, $1 per event or something like that, $1 per, show up instead of a wearable. You know what I'm saying? So something they can actually understand. And then once they, like baby steps, from there you can like, okay, this show you get a wearable. You know what I mean? This show you get this. But I think the reward of the Bitcoin, I have to figure out how we can implement that and how it can be automatic too, or close to it, where like it's easy for them to claim. You know what I'm saying, into a wallet. So I'm trying to figure all that out and make it very simple for the average person to understand, like my mom or dad. You know.
Let's go. The vision is there. Let's see. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Deuce, my apologies, my brother. You've been there, you've been here for a while now, and we haven't even passed the mic over to you. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I'm just doing the dishes, chilling, relaxing, and listening to the whole conversation. It's been really cool, and I wish you the best on your venture, casualty or casually. Um, One thing I could
Thank
say is, when I'm 37 now, but when I was young, I got my first publishing deal with music when I was 21 years old. And before all that, I was doing shows, I was DJing parties, I was a dropout engineer and off the school in Sunset called SAE. But I found out who I really was during that whole thing. I'm a built music producer songwriter. That's my DNA. And that's what I do without music.
Let's
I mean, without
go.
money or with money. You know what I mean? But the one thing that really excelled my home recording business was making a flyer that was informative and going to like college campuses or, that was my big thing, a college campus, and I'd slap that bitch everywhere. And within that next week, I was booked for the whole month and beyond. So that's a cool like little street team, like old school remedy that really was successful for me. I'm sure these days too, you can go online and do ad online, but man, like you said, nothing beats.
No,
You
nothing
know,
beats in person. Fuck those online ads. Yo,
yeah,
I mean, you're not even speaking like rocket science either. It's like, yo, dummies, you already know what to do. It's this, remember? And I'm over here like, mama didn't raise no bitch. You know what I'm saying? Get the Nikes, baby. We going to town.
yeah, it was very useful for me in my career growing up, and I loved it. And even going to like studios and just meeting people in studios. I mean, you just meet the right kind of people. When you go to like a studio session, or if anyone ever invites you, take every invite you can, because you just meet different people in your lane, and that's like the best, right? And one other thing that really worked for me is education over greed. You know, if you can lend your hand out and educate someone, that goes a long way, because now you are a mentor to that person, and that person sees you in a different light, and thinks that they can call you for something. You know, if they have a question or of anything, you become that person that they call, that they can trust. You know what I mean? When you educate someone, they look at you like, man, I need to call him because I have a question. And that leads into other stuff. And that, if they want to pay you, they have a trust factor already built in their mindset for you. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like, I feel like education and, you know, all that stuff, it just sends everything in the right direction if you're able to pay it forward and lead with your hand and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's solid. That's super. That's great human advice right there, and I appreciate it. And congratulations on your success as well. Let's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
go.
thank you. Thank you, man. But here's my deal now. Like, I did that in life, real life, but you know, this whole Web3 space with music, my music career, I'm so new to it, and I'm like a caterpillar. I haven't even built my cocoon, you know. I don't even know how to spread my wings yet. So
I've done over 150 music NFTs. Like, you know what I mean? I can help educate you on this shit. I can educate you on my failures, right? I don't plan on telling anybody I'm an expert at anything, but like, I've done all type of shit in these streets and fucked it off. I lost a whole 401k 2.5 years ago, 40k of it down the drain. I done figured out each chain. So like, you know, I done fucked a lot of things up. So man, I'm happy to, you know, at least be a buffer
Right.
for you on your journey, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. We'll definitely talk, dude. And
Anytime.
like, I just wanted to say, like, one of the first spaces I entered was DCA, the Decentraland. You know, this group right here, it's Sinful, CK, Existence, Shelly. This was like the first actual, you know, creative Web3 space where I felt so neutral. And I didn't feel like it was like a clan where you had to be accepted. You know what I mean? I just came in my first time, and they were so open to discussion. I jumped in their Discord. I haven't been there in weeks, but when I first came in, they were so open. They're just literally creating their everyday, guys. Literally just their everyday building towards something to help the whole community. And that's why I'm here, you know, and that's why in my mind, they put that perception of, wow, these guys are open, they want to help. You know, it's a great open platform for any creative, any developer that wants to be a part of it. You know, and musician and songwriter or poet. So, like, I mean, just coming from me, that's like my testimonial. That's like my 1 month testimonial, I guess, right? But I really want to uh, dive deeper into it with them, and hopefully, you know, be able to perform in one of their Decentraland spots, because I just went to like my first event last week, which was like the beat battle you guys hosted with Quan and Stony, and that was fucking lit, man. I had such a great time there, and I'm just looking forward to, you know, growing with this community, because I really like this community. Like I said, they're really kind people, and they mean well, and they try to help. They really do.
Hey,
So,
Juice, just make sure you stay around for my track. Don't leave before you get to hear some of my stuff. That way you can get that quality reassurance so we can get to rocking together, yeah?
yeah, fam, I got you, man, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so on that note, man, I wanted to, you know, just see if I can jump on any kind of pending waiting list to hopefully perform with some of the guys up there on some upcoming shows.
And
Um,
girls.
and girls, of course, and everybody. But yeah, man, that I just wanted to give my piece and positivity. Thank you.
Damn, thank you, Deuce. Really appreciate, the kind words and yeah, on that pending waiting list thing, like to tell you the truth, yeah, it's very possible. Just depends on how soon you're ready, to tell you the truth. And even, there may be even some bigger show opportunities coming up in the future.
I'm totally down. Um, I love playing guitar and like singing and performing live. I love rapping too. Um, I just want to get out there and have fun with everyone and perform, do what I love to do, and hopefully start dropping some NFTs, with my music on there. But I'd love to be a part of the whole set and just perform. I just want to perform, man. That's all I want to do.
And yeah, I mean it's open. And we are eager to watch you perform. I remember around the time we had met, that was when we were all getting ready to do the 1 year celebration for this Twitter space and Discord. And we're like trying to get you on, but I guess there were like a couple of miscommunications or so we never really got the chance to like kind of like tie that knot. But dude, I'm as long as like you are willing, like we are here to help you. Don't give up.
For sure, I appreciate that, Sin. Thank you so much, and I'll definitely get in touch with you know you and Shelly as well, and just try to get things rolling. And I really appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Deuce. So yeah, I guess if there's any more topics anyone that is speaking would like to talk about, just make sure to raise your hand. If any new listeners down there would like to request to come up to speak, chime in on the current conversation or any past conversations, you're more than welcome to, or even just ask questions. You can do that. If not, perhaps maybe we can start to wind down. And oh, there's CK. What you got for us, CK?
You can definitely start winding down whenever you're ready. But I just want to remind everybody that next week is the Mesh Art Fair and the Metaverse Art Week. So definitely pay attention to any socials around that and what's coming. But yeah, it starts July 19th. I believe there are 40 artists who were given cubes for Mesh. They're all a standard, like, I want to say it's like a 12 by 12 cube, white cube that we were all given, and each artist gets to do whatever they want inside. And so I've been getting some sneak peeks at the cubes as I've been building my own, and it's really awesome. And I'm really excited to see what you guys think of it. So definitely come through, Bay. I'm sure we'll appreciate that. Lots of people in the audience here have been involved. Nikki Fuego, Odd Job, just to name a few at the top. And Canessa as well, who's not here today. But yeah, so shout out to everybody who's been a part of that. Also, KJ and what's going on with General Art Week as well. I know Bay and KJ have been working on that. Lots of community art will be shown. I hope. I know I've been pointing people in the direction of KJ and Bay for that, and I've been seeing some posts go out. So yeah, just be looking forward to that next week in Decentraland.
Yes, very exciting, very exciting. Do you have a start date? Do you know the start date for
Yes,
Mesh?
well, Mesh starts July 19th. I'm not 100% on Art Week just because I've been so heads down building for Mesh, but I can try and look it up real fast.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well then, Mesh on the 19th. I'm very excited to see like all of like what Mesh has been putting together. I know that there have been a lot of us that have just been, like you mentioned, heads down, just grinding to make their mesh submissions and stuff like that. Really proud of everyone. The amount of effort that I've been seeing put into it.
Absolutely, so many talented people, and I've loved the new artists coming in too, because we've been using the community building Decentraland Discord that Sin talked about to help onboard these artists into a new metaverse platform potentially for themselves, or even into the metaverse if they've just been a 3D artist. And I think there's definitely some wake up calls and how low poly the world is, and how you have to actually be really good with figuring out how to make something that is really high fidelity work in a very small amount of triangles and very limited MB size, because I think a 1 by 1 parcel is 15 MBs. But yeah, so it's been amazing to see all of it and to connect to new people. And I really hope that during the week, a lot more of that happens in the community, and we just have a bunch of new friends here now.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening. We're growing. More friends. Oh, more friends is always a good thing. Okay, well, I guess it would be a good time to start winding down. Casually, I'll pass it over to you last so that you may perform your song for us. Um, let's see. Yasha, final thoughts?
I don't know, no final thoughts, but thank you everyone for being a part of, the early stages of the metaverse. One day we're gonna look back on these days and be like, those were the days.
Right? Like we'll be sitting here like 20 years or 10 years from now being like, remember those early Twitter spaces, like how we used to just go so back and forth, like just trying to brainstorm ideas and put them together, sort out the pieces.
Yeah, we'll be on the Apple Vision Pro 11. Like, remember before there was VR headsets that went into Decentraland, or it was like a third-party plugin that you had to do? Like, we were just on our desktops. Like, we'll be laughing about it.
We'll be laughing about it. I see that Dr. Drip came up to speak. What's up, Dr. Drip?
Hey, what's up, Sin? Before we shut it down and get the alpha on the new music, I wanted to share my post. I just posted about my game jam submission. I've kind of had my head down the past week, like a lot. Like I just looked at my Twitter and like I hadn't tweeted for like a whole week. But yeah, I'm back. I finished my game. That shit was crazy. SDK 7 is amazing. It's so much better than SDK 6 straight up. There were like a couple little problems with the docs. Like right now, if you try and deploy to a world, and you use the deploy script that's in the docs, it was updated this morning to be something wrong. So it's actually missing like 2 dashes. It's something so stupid. But if you have the old deploy script, use that. They're aware of it. They're probably going to update it soon. But that's something that I dealt with this morning. But yeah, let me pin it real quick because it's open for everyone to try. It's like a fully functioning quest that I made. And if you complete it and screenshot it at the end, then there's a chance to win. I'm giving away 3 mythics. Um, these are the mythics that I made a while back and never released. So it's kind of a cool prize and a cool way of getting them out and like I guess getting participation and eyes on this build. But we're gonna see if we can win something. But it's I guess the top 25 people that participate get uh like 100 mana. So I was like, okay, what's like basically $40 worth of coding? So you guys got to tell me if it's like $40 worth of coding. Let me know. But I shared the top. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Drip. Yeah, you did bring up actually a good good point. Game Jam coming up. Everyone's just been so heads down. Even like, just seeing SRJH, just like, be like, yep, most of my time has been on Game Jam right now. And even I've seen like some submissions from Dogman and Art, which makes me really happy. The I think it's called the Fluffy Cat, and it looks like it's like you go first person as a cat and you collect crap, I forgot what it was that you collect, but you collect some resources and you avoid the coronavirus looking thing. Go
You
ahead,
get
CK.
birds. It's
What were they?
birds.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you collect birds and avoid the coronavirus. I,
Right.
it,
That one.
it,
So, one of the so first of all, that game was hilarious and awesome. The theme was lucid dreaming. So like, yeah, a cat flying, chasing birds. I think that's hilarious and perfect. And I think that one's really cool. It is kind of like a traditional like arcade kind of game. They opened it up so it didn't have to be like a game. It could be like anything interactive, an interactive scene with something you got to click on, and it has some code that made something else happen. That's basically it. So what I did is I was gonna make a game. I was gonna try and make like Halo 3 Griff Ball or something, and I started putting some pieces together, and before I knew it, it was so far from that. It's just like a straight quest. Like I don't know. You'll have to check it out. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it, and I learned so much. Like holy shit, I feel like my brain just doubled in size. It didn't. I'm not that uh yeah. I'm not that crazy, but yeah, if you guys haven't tried one of these contests, like, or a build contest or something, like, I recommend trying it, because like you come away with something, even if you don't win. Like, holy shit, how much I learned, I can't express it enough. So yeah, I recommend everyone get out there and try and make some.
Not only that, but like even with every submission, it's like think about how much the overall platform learns, because like that code is made open source, correct?
Oh, right. That's the other thing. Yeah. So it is open source, and people can take it. But that was something that I was kind of like focusing on. I kind of want, so first of all, my code is by no means like, I tried to clean it up a little bit, but it's probably like not the cleanest code, anyways. But like that was something that I kept in mind. I commented everything, I notated things, because like I really do want people to, even if they don't take this game and make something out of it, they might like not exactly know how the NPC system works on SDK 6 versus 7, because it's immensely different, or the UI system. So I'm hoping that yeah, people will be able to tear this apart and see that it has all the working components already, and it'll help them answer a question. If not, I mean, if somebody did take this apart and make their own game out of it, that would be cool too. I'm all for that, because I didn't produce custom assets for this. That was one thing that I do think I kind of skimped, was custom modeling. I was way more concerned with learning the SDK coding. So as a benefit, there are some assets from Sketchfab. So again, if people want to take this and use it, that's what it's made for. But yeah, they do open source all of the entries. So anyone who made a game did share their code.
Yep, and yeah, I just want to take a moment to like even just encourage everyone to yeah, keep an eye out for Game Jam. If you see any new creators competing, let's show them some love. Let's show them that like they're really there are people here that care to look at what you made, your creation, and yeah, let's shout them out, celebrate them, because that is I feel like that's something very important for like creatives. Like that their work needs to be seen by the world, and like that's what we're here for. We need to we are here to be your test dummies or be your users, like give you that feedback and help improve your skills, their skills, everyone's skills overall. So I guess last question on the game jam topic for you, Dr. Drip. When is game jam? When should we expect to see like some results, or maybe like be able to like check out the games and vote if there's a voting process for it?
So submissions ended yesterday actually, and they did have to delay it a day or two because of some technical difficulties with. At first, it was a form, and then with Worlds. So submitting it, it's too late. They announced it. It started last month on the 19th. I believe there were only 21 days. I think that sounds right. There are 21 days to participate. So I think people are either they want to share it. Like I didn't need to share this. I could have let it go under the radar, but I chose to share it today. So who knows? Maybe other builders are going to be sharing theirs, or maybe there weren't many participating. I don't know. We'll find we'll find out in the coming days, right?
Yep. We'll find out when that list comes out. That was like kind of like the bummer for me last year that like I did not know there was a game jam going on until like the results were already out, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting me share. If you guys see it up at the top, give it a like. If you feel like it, give it a retweet. But I appreciate you guys, and that's all I got for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Drip. Let's see. I'll pass it to Deuce. Do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
Man, I am very interested in what Doc is making down there. I think gaming in this Web3 space is a big part of the adoption part, you know, of bringing other people in and then bringing in music as well and creating, and also the metaverse. It's all it's a cycle. It's the circle of life, right? So if we all support each other like we are right now doing this, we just become bigger and better and smarter. And you know, man, that's all I gotta say, man. It's good stuff.
Thank you, Deuce. And yeah, let's I also share that sentiment with you. Like, you know, games, I feel like games are what kind of pushes the platform forward. If someone can like figure out how to do a certain thing in a game, I feel like that's just like one component that could be taken and improved upon for the next game and so on and so forth. Um, so thank you. CK, final thoughts?
Sorry about that. My phone screen had locked. No, just thank you all. I appreciate all the love around nail art and ideas, and I'm always down to collaborate with people. I've actively been trying not to sign up for any large tentpole events, even though I know one was maybe talked about today. But yeah, do always reach out. I want to spend more time with the community. I miss you guys. I've been heads down building for like 6 months, as you all have seen, and I just miss hanging out with y'all. So let's do some fun, just fucking around and finding out like Scott does. Let's FAFO it and, be your great selves, be open and kind. Love you guys.
Who's driving?
Who's driving? Yes. Uh, yeah, totally, CK. And you know, I'm still just very, very excited for like what goofy content we can fuck around and find out with you know, moving forward as the workload starts to kind of dwindle down a little bit for you.
I definitely need some playtime, so I look forward to it.
Let's see, I'll pass it to Spotty Wi-Fi. Any final thoughts?
Man, thank you, Sinful, for hosting and for everything you do. I appreciate getting to be part of the conversation, and I have to do it. I have to draw everyone's attention to a grant proposal that I've submitted with Yasha and a great team. Yasha, who's on stage. It's not very popular that there's not going to be a Metaverse Music Fest this year, and it's definitely not. It's not really well known, and it's definitely not popular how that was communicated. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from how that was or wasn't or hasn't been communicated. But it is the truth that there's not that Metaverse Music Fest is now Music Month this year, and our proposal is backed by a team that has a lot of experience producing events and concerts in Decentraland specifically, and in the Web2 music world and marketing world as well. And we believe that there should be an investment this quarter in a music festival during Music Month to make sure that we have budget as a community to bring in some top tier talent, and to have a team that will work with the community to design the festival so that it's something that everybody will enjoy. There will be gamification, and we will bring in artists that actually want to engage with the community, not artists that want to send in an audio file from their yacht. We want to find artists like Bun B, like our co-founder, who will get on Twitter Spaces, like our first AMA that we did on Thursday. Talk about it on social media, on Instagram to their 1 million+ followers, like we're doing right now with Bun. And that's what we want to see happen, so that we can elevate the musicians that are already grinding and working so hard to make Decentraland what it is. And because we agree with Deuce that music and gaming are the 1A, 1B opportunities for immediate entertainment in the metaverse, including Decentraland. And Decentraland is proof of that. We want to support that. And we want to, importantly, we want to build with the community. We want to have, this will take place on land that we already own. We're not asking for money to buy the land. We're not asking for a bunch of money to build the whole festival grounds from scratch. It's already in development. We're going to have, of course, we're going to have shops where we can highlight artists, like apparel. We're going to have a salon for spotty nails and all sorts of nails. We're going to have a barbershop for spotty hair and all kinds of hair. We're going to have quests. And this festival is happening no matter what. The grant will allow us to bring it to its fullest vision, which is a 4-day festival of almost all live music, including all live headliners. And I really hope you guys will check it out. And if you have any feedback or questions, we will have a Spaces tomorrow with Tank Poco at 6 p.m. Eastern, who's going to be curating a stage during the festival.
Let's go, man. Bullish on Tank Poco. I'm happy to hear of the baby doll involvement with the music festival, or like the vision. Definitely, very important to have a stage that will highlight women in the space, as well as could even be like a place to bring in some new musicians, like through a dollhouse stage, somewhere that they can feel welcome and safe to perform in. I'm so bullish, and good. That's a good addition to the whole plan. And I'm really happy that kind of my feedback from that last Twitter space, you jotted it down, you made the tweaks that are needed. I know I got a little passionate when speaking about it and stuff like that, but sometimes I just this is my home world. This is I care about this community and Decentraland as a whole. I wanted to see it succeed. So that was just me sharing like my insight from like what I believe.
Absolutely. No, your feedback was incredible. And like I was trying to kind of describe it earlier, but I'm an artist and I'm a music fan. I'm a music artist and a music fan. And sometimes when you're the artist, trying to perform in the metaverse, you succumb to limitations, or you're limited in some ways of what you can deliver. But as a music fan, and as us throwing this festival into Decentraland, you helped remind me, like, if we are determined to deliver a festival where all the headliners perform live, and we bring in top tier talent that will work with us and make sure that we can deliver a live performance, then that's going to be the best possible experience for the community. And the truth is, we can do that. We just have to make that our goal, and just do it. So that and other great feedback that you had and that the community had is exactly what we're encouraging. We want to work with the community. We really do. So if there's a way we can improve the proposal, please let us know. DM one of me or Yasha personally. We also have the All-Time High Fest at Gmail email account that we check every day. So get at us one way or another, and let's figure out how we can work together.
Thank you, Spotty. Thank you. And now, without further ado, casually, I'll pass it over to you. I'll let you decide if you would like to perform first and then give us your closing thoughts, or give us your closing thoughts first and then perform. The choice is yours.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my closing thoughts and then hit play and walk you through this Little Umbrellas track. That's the title. Little Umbrella is my newest. And yo, Spotty, well said. And let me just respectfully put my name in that cap. I am that guy. I made it in Web3. I started in Web3. I didn't make music before Web3, and now this is taking over and consuming my soul. Like, it's led me into everything. My poetry, my written word is like my daughter's involvement in it. Everything. It means everything to me. So I'm fucking here for it. I'll definitely go. You know what I mean? I'll definitely go to battle on creating new opportunities and representing Web3 well. So I just like to say these things out loud. Like, people are too shy to say these things. You know, I say these things with the utmost respect to those before me, but I am him, goddammit. Like, I am him. Like, I'm here for the opportunities. I am here for the opportunities. Yo, big love. Thank you so much for the room as well. This is the community building room, Decentraland, and I'll be joining the Discord. And this is Little Umbrellas. If you ride with me, you know what I'm saying? Let's ride.
Eric, the producer, did it again, dog. Crypto casually. Yeah. I just want fresh mozzarella, homemade bruschetta. Just want to be high with the fruits. Yeah. What up, Eric, the producer? Counting my crypto casually. You did. I just want the drinks with the little umbrellas. I just want the drinks with the little umbrellas. Yo, it's understood, it's all about angels and devils. I don't need the V for vendetta. I don't need the heat cause you jealous. I don't need to buy what you selling. I don't need to listen to the story you telling. You looking to felon, but look what I fell in. I'm whipping the wand and these words that I'm spelling is Web3 cartelians. The truth has been spoken, a beast is awoken. He's mastering moments, there's alpha, there's juice, and he's never been choking. Ooh, he just on concentrate. 0 to 100 right out the gate. Despite magistrate, don't reciprocate the hate. Be different and dangerous, that'll lead to greatness. It's already faded. It's written in time, just look to the moon, just look at their faces. Look at what everyone is faced with. They just blazing the herb, they looking evasive, super jealous and just extra complacent. I need a helicopter pilot to help me escape it. I just want the drinks with the little umbrellas and the time to taste it. Yeah, that's all I'm facing. I just want the drinks with the little umbrellas and the time to taste it. Be with my boys, that's basic. Up in the basement, gangin', rapping the trap shit, raging, spicing it up like a Cajun. Never hear me evading. Accountability basics. You could just hear me reverberating. It's intoxicating. We are not related. I am a Martian, baby, and it's all about the angels and devils. I don't need heat cause you jealous. I don't need to buy what you selling. I don't need to listen to the stories you telling. You looking like a felon, but look what I fell in. I'm whipping a wand, these words that I'm spelling. It's Web3 love, it's the cartelians. You dig? A truth has been spoken, a beast is awoken. He's mastering moments, there's alpha, there's juice, and he's never been choking.
Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Love you guys. Thank you. Have a great day today.
Yo, Casually, you are a poet. And this song is on the blockchain. Is there an NFT for it? Like, what's up? Like, I might be interested. You never know.
Yes, sir. I launched my Hedera Casuals project in 2 days on Hedera, obviously, and I sold this track as my first single a month ago. I sold out 444 copies of it on Hedera, and it's on my socials and everything though as well. You can go to my YouTube, which I think I've already thrown up in the jumbo. But yeah, it's on Hedera. You know, I've got collections on ETH, Tezos, all that kind of jazz, but this one's called Little Umbrellas. It's on my Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, you know, all the free stuff. So tap in.
And you go as, or you go under the name of Casually on
Casually.
YouTube, Spotify, and
Well, crypto casually is what the handle is on all of them for sure. I've just recently tried to start branding towards casual. And motherfucking everybody named brother got the first name crypto out here. I can't have that shit no more. You know what I mean? We gotta, you know what I mean? But you know, that is another conversation, right? But yeah, crypto casually, all one word. I've dropped a 35 track album, an 8 track album, and I think a 5 track album. and I've got a couple hundred videos up on my YouTube, and you know, it's all from Web3. Like, you know, I found Web3 by accident when I was going through a divorce a couple years ago, and I'm always been a freestyler at kind of a high level, you know, amongst the group, and one thing led to another, you know, and I just found love in it, and I'm at peace, and I'm happy more than I've ever been in my fucking life. So ain't nobody touching that. So yeah, your support is greatly appreciated. Let's fucking Grammy, gang.
Let's fucking go. Oh, go ahead, Deuce.
Casually, I'm so happy for you, bro, to hear that you came from a really depressing divorce and you found Web3 and you honed in on it and it just swept you away, man. I'm so happy to hear that, bro. All the power to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, saved my life. Shout out Web3.
Yep. I mean, I can relate it right there. Web3 saved my life. That sentiment like is like drilled in my heart.
I mean,
Go
I got
ahead,
daughters,
Scotty.
bro, you know, and I'm a wild boy. Like, I'm a good time, I'm polite and all this stuff, but like, I fuck up, I make a lot of mistakes, I make implosive decisions, like, and I got a 9 and a 5-year-old daughter that are watching all this shit happen. So Web3 kept me in line, and I found art. You know what I'm saying? So.
Hey, casually. Hey, what's
sir.
what's your sorry, what's your ETH address? Do you have like cryptocasually.eth?
Cryptocasually.eth. Yep, you got it.
Okay. I'm gonna send you cryptocasually.dcl. So now you have a name in DCL now, and that means
Let's
you can do it.
go.
You can do what CK was talking about, where you can build a
Okay.
world. You can build your own world, and you don't even need to own land on the main map. You know, so
Let's go,
you could
Scotty.
build your studio there, and have
Yo.
cryptocasually.dcl be the address for it, basically.
Yo, super fire, bro. Super fire. Yo, and I don't think I ain't peeped those wearables you've been rocking. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it, you know what I'm saying, Spotty? Like,
Nah, bro. Wait till you get into the emotes, though, bro. I'm like, I went to the Matrix. Morgan Freeman hooked me up. I got the whole kit, bro. Don't fuck with me.
Yo, I fucks with you hard, yo. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I won't let y'all down for sure.
Yo, Spotty, damn man, I'm gonna just even take the moment to just thank you for that gesture towards casually, like getting him the name. For like those that know me know that I am like bullish on names on Decentraland. That is like make sure to get your name before someone else gets it, because it could be worth a lot more than just a monetary value. It's like your name is you. And yeah, always bullish on names. Yeah, I have like 40 or 50 of them myself. You know what's funny? I actually found myself in the top 100 holders list on OpenSea for Decentraland names.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've been buying like anytime I try not to say something out loud on spaces or something if for an idea if I don't already have the name for it, it's like so key to just have that spot, because even if you don't end up using that exact name, like it might be a name somebody tries to like then take and use and like whatever, but do something not as cool with it. So
And even like my point of view is like if like I'm just minting different names, it's like I'm not necessarily looking to make like 10,000 mana on a name. It would be nice. I do have a couple up for that amount, but my real goal with them is to kind of like as I float around in Decentraland or in Web3 in general and meet different individuals. Who knows? Maybe there's someone that I meet that their name resonates with one of the names that I have, and it's gone. It's shipped over to that wallet once I find that person.
and casually, when you log into Decentraland now, basically you'll be able to, like, with this wallet, the wallet that I sent to cryptocasually.eth, you can now log into Decentraland and have that name, crypto casually, as your public facing name, your username. When you come into Decentraland, you show up to parties, that'll be your name that shows up. So yeah, you're like
Let's fucking go.
you're good to
Hey,
go.
let's
You're good to
fucking
go.
go.
And now if you get a wearable, you're really like off and running.
Yo, I gotta get the wearable, bro. Yo, somebody hit me with the alpha on the best wearables. Yo, I'm
I'll
fucking
talk to
coming
you.
to the Decentraland, cuz.
I'll talk to you, and I'm sure others will have suggestions as well.
Fucking fire. Yo, I'm gonna pay this shit forward, just like it was paid forward to me today. Thank y'all so much for all this shit. It was very generous of you, Spotty, and everybody else. I appreciate it.
Join the Discord, like Sin mentioned, and pop into the voice chats anytime. We're always hanging out there working, and you'll get the same experience there pretty much every day.
Sweet.
Yeah, for sure. I'll probably shoot you some wearables over. I can't have you setting foot in the metaverse, knowing me without some drip.
You feel me?
So, so I'll definitely DM you that link to the Discord, and also, yeah, I mean, whenever you jump into Decentraland, hit one of us up, and I'll show you how to. We can show you how to assign that name because I know there's like an extra step to it. You know, you have the name in your wallet, but then you have to go to the builder and assign it as your alias. And you know, if you don't find that you're by on your own, like we can definitely help you do that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
And then on that note, casually, thank you so much for the dope music. Spotty Wi-Fi Yasha, thank you so much for coming up and speaking, you know, sharing about your current grant proposal and the vision, as well as even like, you know, providing your personal insight to, you know, to us, the overall community, about like how you know, about your experiences in the field that you've been working in. Really appreciate you too. Dr. Drip, thank you for coming up, sharing your Game Jam submission, as well as even reminding me that Game Jam like is like, you know, coming in hot. Can't wait to see all the submissions and, you know, play them and stuff. CK, as always love having you here. You know, I should have actually made you a co-host today since I was all lonely. No Canessa. She is out digging for gold, and that is in the literal sense, not the metaphoric. Like she is boots on the ground. She is boots on the ground, like flipping rocks over and shit, probably with like a jackhammer or some shit. Um, but yeah, big shout out to Canessa, Deuce Lee. So nice to hear from you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This has been an amazing space. I mean, like, uh, for the meme, I would be totally open to closing it at 4:20 p.m. Eastern. Right now it's 4:07. So if anyone would like to play any of their music, or even like just say some closing thoughts, maybe read a poem, whatever it may be. I'm open to it.
Well, you can definitely throw me in that queue. I'm not gonna immediately just throw myself in, right? Because that would be rude and shit. But I'm up. Yep, I got next.
I'm throwing casually up in the queue. Casually, let's play it. Let's do it. And Joshua,
Spotty, you want me to run one of your tracks first, G?
Man, if you don't mind, yeah, you could.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could go first.
You
Or I
play
could go
All
first.
Time High. Yeah, yeah. Let's run a Spotty track first, and then
Actually,
I'll go.
can you play Do You Get It? It's on Spotify. It's on the new album. We're doing a music video. The music video drops on July 26th. The music video drops July 26th, and we're doing a party in Decentraland to celebrate ahead of time. Give a sneak peek of the video.
And what was it called one more time?
Do You Get It?
Do you get it? Okay, yeah. See,
Yes,
I was
sir.
in my MetaMask. I was gonna be going to my Body Dips. You know what I'm saying? So we just switched over here.
I mean, you know, you could do either, but this is the new one, but you could do either.
No, we're going to the new for sure.
So yeah, this is featuring DJ Malski out of Los Angeles, super dope DJ and producer. And we got a lot more music together too, but this is the one.
When did this one come out?
This came out on my album, The King's Alpha, which came out in April and is streaming everywhere right now. So this is the one song that he has with me on this album, but then we have a lot more music coming together for sure.
That's big love. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I pre-saved this album. There it is. No big deal. You know what I'm saying? You can support and silence people. You can do things for free. You can help Raise the tide of the ship. You ain't got to do nothing else but just click likes and shit. Okay, it's my G right here. We going King's Alpha, and we are going latest release King's Alpha, and we are going to where's it at? My A. You have two King's Alpha albums?
No, but there's a single, so it's kind of might be.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, got you. Drink ain't free.
You could play any of those. It's all good.
Which, bro? I don't see the one you're saying.
Hold on, my bad, bro. You should play yours. Play yours, and I'll send you a link.
Okay, send me the link.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes, hey, guys, listen. I'm fucking human, right? Spotty's human, right? This was not planned.
No, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, send me that link, and I'll run yours right next. And for the sake of the fucking room, here we go. This is Mastering Moments.
It's casually. I say mastering moments. Mastering moments. Life can be great if you own it. As long as you learn to stop scrolling, live for the moment. Life can be great if you own it. Yeah. First, let's learn a little thing about owning. Backbone must be stoning. Voicemail overflowing. Overblown on a mobile phone. Overthrown like a precious stone. Gotta go like Al Capone. Wishing on an old wishbone. Yeah, I am the elixir of life. X-ray sight in the dark of the night. Testosterone, triple delight. Never be scared of a fight. Fuck with the famous on sight. I'll escort you to the light. Knife to a gunfight type. Fight or flight, wrong or right. The shit ain't all black and white. Walter White couldn't comprehend what I'm cooking. Double looks for the booking. Double clicks for good looking. Looking forward to unhooking. Yeah, instantly pussy. You don't wanna push me. I'll blast off on a rookie. I'll go hard for the cookie. I'm mastering moments. Life can be great if you own it. As long as you learn to stop scrolling, just live for the spur of the moment. Life can be great if you own it. You dig?
Life could be great if you own it. There's a message in that song if you're listening. You know what I'm saying? If you're listening. That was Mastering Moments. And now, without further ado, everyone's come down to see Spotty motherfucking Wi-Fi, baby. Do you get it? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Let's go. Decentraland's finest. Oh, yo, chill, Spotty. Yo, chill. What's the life? This is life. I'm not gonna win. I'm not even doing that pain into that. Oh, that's not even
Yo, you're killing me, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. That's one of my favorite songs on the album. Please check out the album, and we will have a party with CJ Tracks,
Yo,
July
that's my
20th.
favorite song, no doubt. I mean, that's the
Thank you,
one,
bro.
bro. Like that's one of them ones right there.
Man, thank you, bro. Yeah, DJ Malski's really special. He's a really special producer, and we formed a really good bond and chemistry. And this is just the first song we did together. Then we ran off like another 10 songs that we're sitting on. So
That beat is crazy too. That beat is
yeah,
just so cool.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. I was eating Yasha, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, he's really dope. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to introducing him to Decentraland. You know, so we're doing a party July 24th at my Spotty Labs headquarters. So look forward to that. It's going to be a chance to check out the music video before 2 days before it actually goes public on YouTube and everywhere.
Yo, DCL sees it first. Go ahead, Deuce.
That was fucking sick, bro. Spotty, I gotta link up with you. I'm a music producer as well, and I've been a West Coast music producer for over 15 years. We gotta link up, my boy. We gotta talk.
Absolutely. Let's talk. I just followed you, and
For sure.
yeah, I'm on the East Coast now, but try to get out to the West Coast pretty as much as I can, you know, to try to collaborate and work with new people. So, are you in like the LA area?
Yeah, I'm in the LA area. I
Oh,
got a home studio. If you're ever out here, or we can work mobily too. You know what I mean? So it's
for
all good.
sure.
We can always link, chop it up, share beats, and just peep you out on my vibe and what I like, all the different styles I make. Um, I'm right down your alley, man. I like your shit.
I love it, man. Definitely. Let's stay connected. And thank you.
Love this. I feel like with today's space, like at least for me, it's like a mission accomplished. On all fronts. Like we came in here, we spoke about different topics, current topics on Decentraland. We shared our thoughts and opinions. We connected with a new creative in the space, highly talented creative in the space. We answered questions. We're showing the world that we're here, and this is just I'm just very honored that that everyone has come out and supported today, and kept the conversation going. um let's see, I could ramble for another 2 minutes, or someone could put in a quick beat, and then I will close the space at exactly 4:20.
I'm having a gear issue. I don't know why I can't play music, but casually, if you got something, you could definitely drop. But this has been a great space, Sinful, and thank you for hosting, and thank you for everybody that tuned in and all the speakers. I really had a good time being in the conversation. We'll see you guys soon.
We love you, bro.
Cowboy.
Yeah, man. I just want to say thank you to everyone, man. Casually, man. That's my guy, man. Always spitting that fire. Let's link up soon, man. Let's do an in real life meetup soon. Um, you know, let's do this, man. We got to keep being consistent. Let's get out in the world and let them know we're here. You know what I'm saying?
We out here. Thank you, everyone. Well, shit. I guess time to shill my friends. Everyone check out Vroomway, Stateless Road South, Nikki Fuego, Badass Dev, Dr. Drip, Badass creative in the space. Let's fucking go. I think Dr. Drip is also one of my sponsors. This Twitter space was brought to you by Dr. Drip, Vox Sports, Baby Dolls, Decentraland DAO, Meta One Designs, and the Decentraland community, of course. Love you all. It's 4:20. Bye. Love you. All right, all right. Let's see. Let's raid. Let's raid out to the next streamer. Thank you, everyone that's on Parcel. RMU and I in the same time zone. Yeah. I'm Eastern time zone, so I don't think Zam is here anymore. Darn. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see. Who can we raid today? Anyone have any suggestions? Oh, oh, she's back. Nice, nice. Good to see. Lavelle official? I think I've raided him a couple times. I need some filth. Oh, it's do. Waddle waddle, and he waddled away. Waddle.